Refraction
No, I
works
didn't.
against the globe or flat Earth in almost all cases.
Yeah, because on your model, refraction, light always bends down in your model because it's denser at the bottom.
No,
so we always
not
see
always.
looming.
Not always.
Not always. Yeah, in some situations it does bend upwards and we get
Almost
sinking.
always.
But
Most
you
commonly,
guys,
yeah.
your hypothesis is that because at sea level the atmosphere is densest, on a flat Earth it would always look concave because everything would be looming upward, right? That's what the difference is.
Not
that is an
everything.
expectation. That is an expectation we would have on certain days.
No, it's not. Not completely, just. No, not two objects the same height above that flat level surface.
Oh no.
No. There's no reason for that to bend upwards.
Yeah.
Right. And just to clarify, I was not hand waving everything. It may have seemed that way because I think there is merit to there being congruency with the observations, but you also have to ask why that is. And the only conclusion you end up with is that you're on a ball, but there could be another reason for that, and that's what we're trying to figure out. That there might be something else that's giving us the same result with these observations that we're doing.
But until that piece of falsification comes up using the scientific method as we like to, we hold to the most beneficial. We hold to the most accurate conclusion that we can based on the evidence.
And there's nothing wrong
at the moment. Yeah, and that conclusion at the moment, without falsification, is the Earth is shaped X.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. It's reasonable to lean towards the side that has more evidence, but we're just being skeptical. We're being this is what creative people do. This is how new ideas are invented, not just by conforming to the current model of reality.
Do you think we just conform to the current model of reality, Space Pope, or do you feel that there are a good percentage of people who've actually looked into this with a reasonable amount of scrutiny?
Well, the people in this Discord do go out of their way to prove that their hypothesis is correct. They do experimentation, they do observations. Yeah, they are people that go out of their way, but the general public don't. They just accept it and go on with life. Yeah. But you guys are not normal. You're like the globe called zealots. This is not what normal people are like.
It's not called zealot as well.
I don't think I wouldn't consider myself a globe cult zealot because, to be honest,
yeah, that was kind of harsh. I apologize.
If the Earth came out to be flat tomorrow and you could demonstrate that to be true, I go, yeah, fair call. Now now I would have some interesting questions to ask about why have we viewed it this way. And
well, that's why we're really pushing. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. That's why we're really pushing for this test, this force the line test. I think the best observation we can do is if we have a straight line and compare that reference point with the surface of water, we would get a good answer from doing that, because all these debates don't really result in anything. So the only answer we're going to get is through that.
Yeah, unfortunately, until space travel, I mean, for the hyper-skeptical, let's just call them that, for the hyper-skeptical becomes a reality, and there are just so many people that have been up to space now say, oh, look, it's all very curvy, and come back down, that you cannot dismiss it. To me, the best observations that we can take of this planet are at extreme altitude, because that's where we get...
Right, but you know that we don't accept those, though. We don't accept anything from space, so that's just not going to work with us.
Babs, there was something I brought up earlier with Brian Mabbitt, and he was reasonable. And Jeremy, who's not here right now, I was hoping he would still be here because I was gonna. He's usually the unreasonable one who denies this, but actually, there's a test that I think actually Jesse Kleskowski or whatever. I think he's done this basically, but I wanted to get a GPS to get like accurate line. Accurate straight line drawn, because you can actually draw an accurate straight line with pretty precise GPS. Like there's GPS, there's ways to get it within a centimeter of accuracy, and you can use two positions or multiple positions and determine an actual straight line and reference that with the shape of the Earth, and see that they're either congruent or if it's going to curve a little bit.
And is that straight line going to be an imaginary straight line, or is it going to be a real straight line? You know, like how the points of reference from theodolite are like sort of imaginary. It's not like an actual horizontal, if you know what I mean. Because the test that us guys were suggesting was we were going to draw an actual line on a wall and compare it to the surface of water.
Right. Yeah. So what you could do is you could use like with the Bedford level test, you can actually just when you use the GPS, you can actually put the coordinates of a straight line in there, just like if you had a piece of paper and you had two coordinates like x and y, and you just drew something along, let's say x equals 1. You just made a line across x equals 1. It would make an actual straight line, and you could do the same thing with GPS, because even though you get it in longitude and latitude coordinates, the original way in which it comes is in XYZ coordinates. So you could do exactly the same thing and just create a line where x equals 1, and then y and z are changing, but x equals 1 for this distance, it's going to be a straight line.
Right. So the GPS is going to give you your latitude and longitude coordinates, but is it going to give you? It's also going to give you elevation, right? Reference to the ellipsoid model.
That's what I'm saying. Is it actually the GPS actually has to do work to convert that. So x or longitude, latitude, and the out and the elevation, those are spherical coordinates. But that's not in the way in which GPS gets the data. The raw data comes in XYZ coordinates, and it has to convert that in reference to the ellipsoid, and it gives you longitude, latitude. But before it does that, it actually is, like I said, XYZ.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this before. Someone said something about Cartesian coordinates. Right. Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Just like on a graph paper where you have x and y, x, y, and z is the same thing, but a three-dimensional box like that. But that data is not useful for people on Earth, because no one's going to understand what those coordinates reference to on the Earth. So the GPS system internally converts that to the radius and then the longitude and latitude, which are two angular coordinates.
Right. I don't know enough about Cartesian coordinates to make a comment on this, but I don't understand how a straight line can be gotten from that. I'm not saying it's impossible. I just don't understand how that works.
Yeah, like I said, it's easy enough to think about it in x and y coordinates, like on a graph paper. And as I said, like drawing a straight line on there is as easy as keeping the x coordinate the same value and then changing the y coordinate. That line is gonna be expressed just across that the x coordinate.
Yeah, it's just a fucking normal graph. Cartesian coordinate system is a line down one side, a line down the bottom, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up the side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 along the bottom, and you plot your graph to the coordinates accordingly. You use the same in chess. Chess is the same Cartesian coordinate system. X fucking 7 to fucking king's pawn fucking 3 or something, and then you put it there, and then when you got all them, you draw the fucking line, and that's your graph.
Yeah, that's right. The chessboard is Cartesian.
Right. And you probably don't know how spherical coordinates are formed, but the three coordinates are I'll see if I can post you a picture. But the three coordinates are two angles, so it's hard to express. I'll just show you a picture. Hold on.
Vectors, X and Y.
No, not Cartesian. Cartesian coordinates don't have X and Y.
Still vectors. Still coordinate systems that go in two directions, so that makes them fucking vectors.
Yeah, the coordinates on a spherical coordinates are two angles.
Oh, right, then, yeah, they're different fucking vectors. They're fucking annoying.
And one distance. Distance is the radius.
I work in that show. It's all that 2 times pi crap.
Yeah, so check out this picture real quick.
Hey, Kosho.
Yes, Brenda?
For some reason, I can't post drag and drop images. Do you know of any settings?
Yeah, I'll help you out with that. Babs,
yeah.
Yeah, I see it. I'm looking at it right now.
You should be able to, Brenda. You have to
drag it onto your desktop first.
Yeah, I don't think it's your end. I think it's my end. But I've looked.
Drag it onto your desktop first, and then drag it from your desktop to the window.
Yeah, I tried that, and it still won't let me.
Well,
and I'm wanting to know what settings on the app I
Make
might
it
need to
bigger.
change.
Stick in the middle of it and make it bigger. Then you'll be able to drag it out.
I'm not really
Yeah,
sure.
I can see the image, Kosho. So those Cartesian coordinates, those squares, get wrapped around the ball. So it's like a disco ball.
No, that's the wrong way. So no, those coordinates are not at all Cartesian coordinates. If you were to put this in a Cartesian, if you were to put this in a Cartesian 3D coordinate system, those coordinates would have to be translated. But the coordinates here. I'm sorry, someone's saying something.
Yeah, I know. You're looking at. You need like a point of reference, don't you? It's like
no. Okay, hold on.
Shit, I don't know. Can't remember.
Just hold on 1 second. Yeah, those coordinates. Those coordinates are expressed as the angle around the circle in the equator, and the angles upwards. So those two angles, and then the distance from the center point. Those would be the three coordinates. And if you're to put this in a 3D coordinate system, the entire it's hard to express this, man. Hold on. I'm just gonna post a picture of a Cartesian coordinate system.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. It's the Cartesian space system is a radius Is it radius something times the diameter or something?
Babs, this one. Yeah, this right here is just simply a Cartesian coordinate system. The x's are one line, the z is another line, the y is another line. They're just different directions on a 3D coordinate system.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's just saying x, y, and z. It's an extra stick.
And so this way down here is how GPS gives you the data. It gives you the x, which is going to give you the distance across one line, the y, the distance across another line, and the z, the distance across the third line. And then it converts that to the angle around the ball in one direction and then the other direction, and then the distance, which is usually about the same. The
area of the radius cosines to the tangent, and then it's minus the fucking sine at the end of the diameter, and that gives you the approximate fucking area of x. Fucking bollocks. That's me.
What are those three different axes represent? The y, the z, and the x. Well, what do they represent?
Three dimensions of space. So forward, backward, and up and down. Just that's just the way which we.
There it is. Radius times 2 pi fucking divided by the arsehole. That's 2. There you go.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out how we get from that point to a sphere. How do we take that data and map it onto a sphere?
Yeah, there's a simple way to convert it. It's not that important, but it just all it does is it plugs those numbers into the.
Well, it kind of is important because that tells us how they're using the data, the raw data.
I'll post you the what do you call it, the equations for it, but it's not gonna mean much.
Well, I'm obviously not gonna understand the equations.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean much other than they plug in the coordinates as they get them, the x, y, and z, and they plug it into this equation, and it gives them the two angles and the radius. Hold on, I'll show you.
You're saying it's impossible for them to fake the elevation number, whatever that is. Z. I don't know what axis it is. Z.
No, generally
Some
you
guy
have
did
to
hear
get.
me.
Never mind.
Well, on the ball, elevation is based on barometric pressure, mean sea level, and the reference ellipsoid model. We're trying to figure out what elevation is based on a flat surface. And it seems as though we're limited because we have to conform to certain terminology that only works on a specific model.
No, on the ball they use mean sea level, which is average sea level for elevation. That's 0. Anything above it. What's up?
Yeah, that's what I said, Jeremy.
Yeah.
That's what I said, Jeremy. It's based on mean sea level.
Yeah, so why can't we use the same thing?
Because on a ball is an elevation. I don't know.
All the water ran off the edge of the dish.
Not if we have gravity.
Right, gravity, you don't be fucking drowned, you idiots.
They
Well,
don't,
everything is
Babs,
not at the same elevation on a flat surface. We have
Babs, they don't
different
understand how the mass attracting mass actually could work on a flat surface if it was dense and deep enough all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but well, the difference is, hold on, Jeremy. The difference is that on the ball, mass attracting mass means that everything is attracted to the center of the ball. So on a flat surface, if we had a center of mass, the vectors would be different. They'd be pointed in different directions. But if that center of mass was infinitely large, I think it might work.
Yeah, I proposed this about a year ago. So if depending on the shape of what's below you, gravity on a flat surface could work. Actually, it could be infinite depth or a certain depth down in a certain mass, just like you would have to have on a sphere. You know, they have to have an iron core, you know, to have that mass, right? At the center.
Right,
on this. Last
right,
time you
Rakia,
were
but
on- last time
if
you-
that mass, has a location, the vectors are all going to point to that location.
No.
But if the
no,
mass
in a
is
vacuum.
equally distributed down under your, you know, under the flat plane,
They have to be infinitely in every direction also.
Oh, you mean if it's like
No.
spread out evenly?
Yeah,
Even
but even the
being-
masses could be different, right? Even the
No, the problem is if you have no horizon, you have no reference point to know which is up or down. So we use these coordinates in space because we don't need a reference of up and fucking down.
Get your guys under control, Kurt.
Tower, I appreciate your input, but
well, to say
the
it can't happen on a flat
horizons.
plane, but can happen on a spinning ball doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Well,
I mean, of course, it could happen.
What you're saying about the flat is not really making sense.
Well, yeah, no, I agree that I'm not going to be able to explain it perfectly, but to say for smart people like y'all to say that it couldn't happen, yeah, that doesn't make any sense even to
Well,
a
Kosho
layman.
did not say it couldn't happen. Kosho gave you a situation in which it could appear this way to us in our location, maybe
It doesn't need to
within
be
a
infinite.
relatively or something approaching infinite plane.
Right. So we are in agreement that it could happen.
Yes.
And if such a
I was trying.
if this were the case, we would not have the phenomena where plumb lines diverge.
Well, actually, Kosho said that plumb lines wouldn't be parallel if it was flat.
In which
Well, then we get
situation-
into pressure and atmosphere and magnetics affecting how light
no,
works over. Sure we do. So anytime you use an optic to measure over distance, then all those things have to be taken into account. How they would happen on a spinning sphere and how they would happen on a flat plane with different, points of reference to where those magnetic, fields are happening would affect the light, wouldn't you?
Magnetics.
I mean, I was trying to back you that night on Ranty's show about mass attracting mass could work for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
but
was
you
behind
said
you on that.
right. You said the problem would be the sideways, right? If you didn't have a container, all that gas would want to go sideways. But you have the same problem with your model. Actually, wait, no, you have bigger problems with your model. In fact, let me ask you this question right now because I want to see what your answer to this is, right?
All right, let's hear
So if the atmosphere is homogeneous, meaning that the compounds are all evenly mixed within the troposphere, why do we have a gradient? Why is it denser at the bottom than it is at higher altitudes?
Yeah, that's a good question, Moyak.
No,
It's called gravity.
It's
Combination of kinetic energy for the gases and gravity.
Hold on, the question
you
is
look-
to Jeremy, is
There
it
you
not?
go. I win again.
You could
Mike.
hold on.
I mean, gravity is a good explanation. It's the observation that things accelerate towards the ground. So what?
And that, can you see why I'm leaning towards gravity now?
Well, you have homogeneous as a statement, but you have distortion of those gases also. Like they're still mixing at certain points. They're not always
Distortion
homogeneous.
of the gases.
Yeah, I mean, the wording might be wrong, but
B20 all the way up to like 1,000 feet.
But you understand what I'm saying, right? That
I
as they're
don't have a
mixing,
clue. Because
you
of the very
have-
fact that I pointed out, this is why. What in the world
they
are
don't
you
just
actually? You skip a word.
spontaneous, like they just don't miraculously mix without any type of process, right?
Well,
Okay,
sunlight.
the thing is mixing it. But what
Right,
is
when
distortion
when
intended to
heat,
represent?
radiation, or whatever the
Can you
else
use a
hell
different word that
y'all
can
says
convey
is
your
the
thought?
mixer. I could use several words, but you're down them all. But whenever that process is happening with the radiation, heat, whatever y'all say happens, that process is taking time, right? It just doesn't, happen in a split second. Or even if it does, you still have that split second of time where it's mixing together. You're going to have that distortion effect.
Well, you're kind of starting from nothing and say, if we start from nothing and do this, then we should see that. And I would probably agree that that's true. But we're kind of a fair way into, we're at least on season 7 or 8 of this particular series. And things are now pretty well mixed. Characters are established, and we can observe those changes as we continue to go on.
It's a cycle, right? I mean, when the gases are being initiated or created or whatever you want to say at a certain level, which tends to
I'm
be
not
at
sure.
ground level.
I wouldn't say it's like the water cycle, no.
And they start mixing together, right, as they go up for some reason, although the vector is down.
Just look at the ocean and you'll get a better idea of what the hell's happening, because the ocean is only one thing, is water and some salt, and it's got basically the same density the entire way, except for a slightly greater at the bottom.
The
It's
ocean
only
is
because
just water and salt. I'll disagree with you.
The salt tends to settle below.
I think there's some gases. I think there's some gases involved there too.
Pretty much,
Yeah,
but
that doesn't
just
matter.
water and salt.
Because the principle.
Yeah, I
that
think
you're
it's all
trying to
being mixed
understand
together.
here, the principle you're
with
trying to
the
understand
dynamic.
here.
You're rambling, Kosho.
Yeah, the principle you're trying to understand.
The dynamic system. The dynamic system doesn't stop when the oceans start, right?
If it's all mixed,
It's
if it's all mixed,
created.
why is there a density gradient in the ocean? Why?
Because
why
more of it's being initiated there, and as the volume increases as you go up.
What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. What does it mean, initiated? What does that mean?
Initiated, created, produced.
Water isn't created or produced. It's just there.
No, we're talking about
ocean.
gases. We're talking about the gases that.
But I was using the ocean as I was using the ocean as an analogy to the atmosphere.
H2O, water.
Yeah, the ocean is
gas, basically. Yeah.
So the ocean has a density. The ocean has a density gradient, just like the atmosphere does.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. It's
hey,
denser.
Bob, can I ask you a
It's
question?
denser at the bottom.
Pressure.
It's denser at the bottom.
Can you give me a second? I want to ask Babs a question, if you guys don't mind. Babs, you there?
Yeah, I'm talking. I'm still here. Go ahead. Yeah.
2 seconds, Brenda. I'm sorry, and then I'll shut up. I just want some clarity because I've heard him say this many times.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Montreal.
Real quick, do you believe the Earth is spinning and traveling at 1.5 million miles an hour?
No.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Sorry to disturb anybody. Go ahead.
Great question.
He's not a glober. I know it kind of seems like it sometimes, but he's not a glober.
Man. You go and ask the question to clarify if he's an ally or no. Look at you, man. You're making sure he's not a traitor?
Because the way Bab comes across sometimes.
Why do you care?
I respect Space Pope. Unlike you clowns, I respect everybody's opinion.
Fine,
I just wanted clarity.
That's fine, SD.
I respect Montreal.
See, Kosho, what you should have done was shut that guy down from saying laughing and things like that against SC.
Stop talking, Rakia.
If we do that, it's terrible. How you constantly, Rakia? Is that what you want?
Jesus Christ, can I respond to Montreal? But yeah, I was just gonna say I respect Montreal because unlike everybody else, he doesn't assume shit about me or attack me. He actually asks me questions. Him and Jeremy and Brandon Toy know what's up.
I'm completely polite with you.
Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Everybody should be respected because seriously, we don't know the answers to these questions.
No,
so let's not be high and mighty.
That's the
let's
problem.
be more like Space Pope.
We do know the answers to these questions.
You don't know shit, Brenda.
Yeah, we do. I know that the Earth is a globe and it revolves around the sun.
And how exactly is it that you know that?
We've had 2,000 years of science by people that have figured it out.
Of priests telling you.
No, science isn't a
Priest.
religion. Science isn't a religion.
So some Greek in a toga 2,000 years ago came up with balls are great, and now we're gonna you ran with that. Right?
Other people have verified that. Sly Sparkane verified that using the exact same method.
No, I told you Eratosthenes proves flat Earth and the sky's reflection.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it proves
I
that
respect my
flat Earth and the
ancestors,
sky's
but they
reflection.
were full of shit. There's no way a man in a toga 2,000 years ago confirmed that the Earth is a ball. No chance in hell.
That's just denialism. He did.
Don't chase him down on this.
Sly Sparkane repeated the experiment, and he confirmed those results. Other people have.
Sly Sparkane repeatedly proved that the Earth is flat and the sky is a reflection.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Yeah,
Sure he did. So the sky doesn't reflect light, Brenda? You don't believe in reflection,
Jeremy's just going to make silly claims now to make his
No,
point.
y'all are making silly claims.
Not in line with the observations made by the person. I would like to finish if I may.
Flat earthers, they lie. It's what they do.
Y'all are denying that light coming through the atmosphere doesn't
I
refract.
appreciate you letting me finish without over.
That's like saying some English dude named Merlin
here's what's gonna
performed
happen.
magic
People
tricks.
need to stop. People need to stop habitually interrupting. Okay, especially the people complaining about it. Those people, the most, need to stop habitually interrupting. But everybody, please stop doing it.
Good job, Kosho. So yeah, if you're going to deny that light coming through the atmosphere doesn't bend, then okay, those sticks and shadows tests from 2,000 years ago, made by those guys 500 miles apart on the same day of the year, on 2 different days separated by a year.
Right.
Then okay, fine, that's a cool assumption.
Rakia?
You're assuming that the lights are coming in parallel, but I believe light as it comes through the atmosphere refracts.
So can I reply to Rakia, please? Rakia, the observations are made at noon when there is no refraction because the sun is directly overhead. And the rays of light coming from the sun are not assumed to be parallel. They are observed to be parallel.
I'm talking about the one that's 500 miles away that's showing your angle. Is that light refracted, Brenda?
Yeah, they tried this shit on me last night with it's directly at noon.
So it was a good try, Brenda, to deceive people in the audience.
Right.
So it is being
refracted. So refraction when it's above the astronomical horizon is minimal.
When
what
she
about
says
on
that,
the
she
ground
means
where the stick is?
She means
What
the
about on
position of the
ground where all
sun.
the gas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that, Kosho. I'm not stupid. What
You
about
are
the
stupid.
light as it's hitting the stick? All those gases that are being, what's the word? Created at the ground, mixing together. Is it bending the light where the stick is coming in?
The stick that's miles and miles
stick
from the
wasn't
one
out
that's
in space, was it? It was on the ground, wasn't
No,
it?
sticks don't bend light. Sticks
How
don't
did he
bend
measure
light.
the
I
distance?
I said the light was bending in the atmosphere close to the ground where the stick was, Brenda. Maybe
Yeah,
you
it's
misheard
not
me.
bending on the
Because
ground.
you brought up that light doesn't bend up in the
So
space, and
that's
you were
weird.
being
If, that
deceptive again.
was the case, Rakia, if that was the case that had such a massive effect, then it's amazing because it means the Earth is even curvier than we think it is. Because the only thing that would do would be to reduce the curve, not increase it.
Okay.
It's not hard
And
to
we're still observing it. So I'm not sure of your point. And I would like to finish my point before you start over talking me. That would be really
You mean
nice.
the point
Thank
that
you.
says it's more curvy?
Yeah, there's no point. Please don't do
Or
that.
were you
Yeah.
making another point?
Not difficult. It's what Brenda said. She's
Well,
talking
he
about the
made
position of
his
the sun,
point,
and
didn't he, Kosho? That it would
please
make
stop
it more
talking,
curvy.
Rakita. Like, there's no point in doing all this stuff. Like, some people are
Move
coming in.
Well, if you
We're
started
talking
making
a
more and
different
more
subject.
points,
Now
wouldn't that
I'll
be
explain to SC
rambling?
why Brenda believes the Earth is round. Okay, so please just stop. Stop obfuscating even more. But this doesn't have to go on forever. It's
I'm
what
not
you just said about
obfuscating. This is
refraction.
about-
What you said about refraction in the fucking stick, you dipshit piece of shit, is that the light comes from the light coming straight down. Like that C
Aren't
said,
you a
the
mod?
position of Ricky, shut the fuck up before I shove it up your ass.
You shouldn't be insulting.
Shut the fuck up,
You
Rakia.
should represent this
Rakia,
site
shut the fuck up.
as a
Kosho at
Shut up.
high noon, the stick that's right under the sun. Yes, that. But we're talking
Yeah,
about the
exactly.
sticks that are. We're talking about the sticks that are miles away, though. Not that
Yeah.
one stick. All the other sticks.
Okay,
It's measured
listen.
at a local noon though.
Yeah, each measurement is made at each position. It's not made looking across the Earth. So the light that you're talking about is light that's coming from up to down, which is not going to be refracted if it's going perpendicular through the medium change.
So we're
That's
just
not
using
true.
one
It's
stick.
500. One of the angle sticks is 500 miles away, Coach.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It's not
Yeah,
straight up.
listen. Just I know you guys have known about this for years, but I'll tell you again that each measurement is made at local solar noon.
Then you
each position is
So
made
you
at
have no
local
shadows.
solar.
So you
noon.
never have any shadows with Eratosthenes.
No, you do have shadows, Jeremy. That's why both of you need to stop talking over people, man. Right? Just stop doing it. It's not hard to understand, but you have to listen to what it is. Both
But the sun,
yeah.
the sun's not directly above the 500-mile away or whatever distance it was point. There is some refraction. Now the question is, how much?
Another question here is, how did they measure the distance between the two?
Thanks for setting your people straight, Kurt. Thank you.
How much refraction, Mr. Rakia?
How much did he take into account? None. He didn't know about refraction back then.
How much refraction should we take into account for that, and why?
You have to measure.
None.
Jeremy, this is not the time.
None. If you want the Aristotle test to come out right, Aristotle or
No,
whatever.
for your argument, Rakia, how much refraction and
I don't
why?
have an argument based on.
Yes, you do.
Based on
Okay,
an
so you
amount.
don't
I
have an argument. Thank you
based
very
on
much.
He didn't take
Let's move on.
No, you've
So,
already made my point. The light
So
is being
you don't have a
refracted.
response to what I said, then you don't have an argument
As
against what I
Brenda
said.
and others stated there was no refraction, deceptively.
I said there
Kurt
was
finally-
minimal. I said it was minimal.
Okay, so how much?
Don't know.
Since you're making a claim that it's minimum, I wasn't. How much is there? What's minimum?
I don't know.
It's not 7
Then
degrees.
how would you know if the test is right or not?
Not 7 degrees, Rakia.
Then
I
how
bet
would
you
you
they
know
don't
if the
even know
test
how
is
they
right?
measure the two distances between what they're measuring. How did they measure the 500 miles? Does
Well,
anybody here know?
I'm talking about Slice Barkane's measurement, not Aristophanes. And we know the distances on the Earth now.
Slice Barkane took distances based on a spherical model. And the angles.
Aristophanes basically sent a servant to Cyrene and pasted out to make the measurement in stads, which is a great.
Oh, servant, you got that from Rumpus, right? The slave thing?
Yeah.
No,
Rakia,
no,
if you're
You repeated that, bro.
Rakia, if you're going to object to the distances because he used a spherical model, please replace them with a proper verified flat Earth measurements, sir.
I'm going to take your fantasy model test and shove it up your butt.
Do you have a flat Earth model with the correct?
I'm going to make you completely miserable if you don't change your tune, sir.
There is no flat Earth model. Earth is not flat.
Hey,
that's right.
Earth is
on
not
the other
flat.
hand,
Welcome to the globe Earth,
you
Rakia.
can create. You're a dumbass, Brenda. You know what I mean?
literally
You're
said
just being
the Earth is
deceptive
not
again.
flat. You
Yeah,
literally
because
just
it's
said
not.
flat.
It has elevation based on sea level. You
No, that's not what people are talking about when they mean flat or
And you
round.
know that. You've heard me say it a million times.
Is the Earth flat?
And you're fool. But
is the Earth flat?
in the process, you're making yourself look like a fool because they all
Is the Earth
know
flat?
you know what I mean.
Is the Earth flat?
No, Earth is land only based on sea level.
I don't mean about elevations. Obviously, I don't mean about elevations because there's elevations on the globe too, right? So which is it?
It's
Is it
not a
flat?
sphere. However you want to say it.
Is it
and
flat,
twist
though?
it and turn it. It's
Is
not
it
a
flat?
sphere.
Is it flat?
No, it has elevation. I've told you.
No,
a
I'm
million
not
times.
talking about elevation. I'm talking about its overall shape. Is it flat?
Listen
Flat
to
is
me.
not
Are
a
you
shape,
listening?
Brenda.
Are you listening? You've asked your question 10 times. Let me repeat it really clear. The Earth is land only. It's never, hardly ever flat. It has flat plains, but it mostly has elevation. And you interrupt me again.
Because you're
I am.
refusing to answer. We're not
I
talking
am.
about
No, I was
terrain.
answering. You interrupted me.
I'm not talking
That's
about
my
terrain.
answer, Brenda.
Your answer is terrain.
Even under the water, the land underneath the water, you know, the container,
the
land, the earth, it has elevations and crevices.
Yeah, we're
and
not
valleys
talking
and mountains.
about that.
Even under the water. Oh, I am.
No,
I am.
I'm not. That's not.
See,
what the
I'm
question.
telling the audience the truth. Yeah.
That's not the question. The question
You asked
is,
a very simple question. Yeah, and we define Earth as land only.
Is the Earth flat in its overall shape, not smooth. I'm not asking if it's smooth. I'm asking what the overall shape is, and you refuse to answer it.
Answered it 20 times. Yes.
No, you didn't.
Not a sphere.
No, you didn't answer it. You
Earth
refused
is
to answer
land only, and it's based on sea level. Underneath the sea, it has crevices and mountains,
part of the Earth?
and above the sea. Yeah, it's contained by the Earth. Yeah,
No,
it's a big part. It's like 70%. It's contained, as all water is, by the Earth. You got it, Brenda?
And by gravity.
Has no curvature, Brenda.
What is
Hey, thanks for the question, Brenda. I'm glad everyone heard.
What is the overall shape of the Earth? I'm not asking about the terrain. I'm asking about the shape overall. What is that shape?
Overall, it has some plains, some valleys, some mountains. That's the overall shape.
That's not what I'm talking about. You keep not answering that. I think it's because you know that it's a globe.
No, I
And you're
know
just
what
lying.
you're trying to do. No, I'm not lying.
This is what a liar
Oh,
does.
this is what a liar does. What you're doing right now, what you're doing is what a liar does. They project other people to be lying as their liar. You've already lied and was deceptive 3 times
That's why
already.
you're answering the wrong question, because you know that what the truth is. You
No,
know
I've
the
answered
truth.
it. Not
You're
a sphere.
lying.
Earth is the land only with elevation
No,
changes
nobody
based on
thinks
sea
that.
level.
Nobody
That's a
thinks
very
the Earth
direct
is the
answer.
land only.
Oh,
Nobody's
I do.
that stupid.
I
Nobody's
do.
that stupid.
I'm very stupid. If that's the criteria of being stupid, then I'm as stupid as it gets.
Please don't go down this path. Please.
So-
He's not going to answer it the way that you're asking. Just ask him.
What do you mean, Kosho? You're going to let her call me
Rakia,
stupid?
please stop, Rakia. Shut the fuck up, Rakia.
As a
You're not
mod,
gonna be
Kosho,
permitted
you
to do
shouldn't
that,
allow
man.
that.
You're not going to be permitted to do that because you're the fucking worst person at interrupting, and you complain about fucking interrupting. Stop fucking.
No, I
Shut
complain
the
about her
fuck
calling
up,
me
Rakia.
stupid.
Shut up.
So you're just going to let her
Shut the
call me
fuck
stupid?
up, you dumb mong. If you were modeling the Earth, if you're going to build a model to show to people, to show to kids, okay, would you be able to build it on a flat platform? That's what she's fucking asking you.
Yes. Okay, and I'll do this. I'll challenge Brenda. We all get some modeling clay. I'll pound mine out with upturned edges on the ends. I'll pour some water in it, and mine will hold water. She can make a pretty little sphere with hers and pour water on it. And guess where her water's going to go? And matter of fact, I'll let her pour her water over mine, and when her water falls off her sphere, it'll fill mine up.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, Rakia. Could you please do that?
too.
Make a physical model. Make it. Do it right now.
Turn it sideways.
I just did.
No, you didn't. I want to see.
Yeah,
where...
as Kosho said, put it on a flat
Hang on,
thing.
Rakia, listen to her.
I want to see where you put the continents on your flat model on the table. I want a map.
We're going to need it placed accurately to scale, reflecting reality.
scale.
Rakia. Can you do that?
Yes, to scale.
Don't control that. I don't have that capability or money. But if
you don't have that capability.
If you're willing to give me the money, I can go plot it out.
I'll buy you a lump of clay.
Oh no, I can buy my own clay, Brenda. I'm talking about being able to measure accurately.
So you have no idea how far away Australia is from
Neither
South
do you.
America.
Yeah, I can fly there.
What's wrong with the measurements we have that work on the Earth that we know?
Nothing. They're probably pretty close.
Use those and make it black.
Say it again.
Use those and model it out flat using those distances.
Okay. That's how it is anyway.
You can't do it.
No, all maps are flat.
No, they're not. All maps are flat projections from a sphere.
Yep. A map of the Earth that's flat will be distorted to hell. Rakia, you know this.
My model will work a lot better than her model.
Go ahead, try it.
No.
Yeah, we're each going to have things that we're not going to be able to do, right? Right?
There's real big reasons why we can't do the silly little thing that you want. Water sticking to it, for example. The way you want it.
So that's not one thing you can't do?
Yeah, the gravity of the Earth presents a rather insurmountable problem there.
Yeah.
I could cover mine with a glass dome and introduce heat and cold to that system and life, and it would grow over time.
You can make a toy that does not actually represent
Could you do
the Earth.
that? Yeah, terrarium.
Would there be
You
little
can make
people
a
inside?
toy that does not accurately represent the Earth. That's it.
You could put animals in there. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but the question is not what all can we. It's the question is specifically is about mapping the actual, like you giving a visual representation of the actual Earth, not make volcanoes and all this other kind of bullshit, but actually make a visual.
Right, just the shape.
The shape, the distances, the sizes of the actual Earth, like a map.
Are you admitting that flat is a shape now? Is that what you're doing, Rakia?
It's hard to measure
We
flat.
don't need to go down that one.
Drop from horizontal.
Is flat a shape? Is flat a shape,
that's a
Rakia?
We don't need to go there.
Is this one of your gotchas, Brenda? You think you're going somewhere? You want to
Is
deceive the
flat a
audience
shape?
again?
Is
You're
flat a
trying to
shape?
deceive the audience again?
Map out your locations without distortion.
I
be
just
right
want
back.
to see a map of the flat Earth. You can make it in clay on a table. You can draw it in crayon. You can
Is it
draw
a
it in
bear
paints. You can draw it in the computer. Just a map of the flat Earth.
He's not here currently.
No problem. We'll provide you that. All I need is about $50 million. I need the high altitude travel. I need an icebreaker.
You want to
I
steal
need
money,
about
yeah?
a crew of 20.
You want to steal
No
money,
problem.
yeah?
I'll have that for you in about a month.
You want to steal money,
See,
right?
why? Why do you need these things?
You want to steal money.
Because I want to measure where we're on, and I need these things. I gotta go high enough. I gotta go wide enough.
Really?
I gotta go to the Antarctic. I need shit.
See, we got you, but Ricky has already accepted the distances, the measurements on the Earth at work. You can use those to model it out flat, right?
Oh, I was off for a while. I didn't understand. I'll take a back seat.
I did not say that. You lying fool. I said they would be close. You would have to
he's not
adjust
lying,
them.
yeah.
He is.
Yeah, he's lying about what I said. He just told SC Montreal that I said something, and that's not what I said. Maybe you misheard me.
Liar like that.
You lying cunt. Isn't that how you act? Isn't that how you respect people?
I am right. When I call you a lying cunt, I am fucking correct.
Yeah, and I'm correct. I didn't say anything like that. I said they would be
wrong.
close. I believe that the distances are distorted now. That's my current belief. Now, I don't know that as a fact.
You're a liar.
How much? How much?
I don't know. I just said I don't know. Are you listening?
£1,000.
See, you don't quantify anything. Captain
You
Ambiguity.
lying cunt. You lying cunt.
General fucking vague bitch.
You lying cunt.
Yeah, you gotta get a hold of yourself, man.
What? What's wrong with that? I learned that
you
from
were
a
just
mod.
talking to him like that, and I think he makes a good point.
I
Yeah.
learned that from a mod.
That's fine,
Here.
Rakia. Stop doing what you're doing, though.
But
No one
it's
cares
okay
what
for
you're
you to talk to people like that, then, Kosher. How do you expect people to respond to you if you talk to them with disrespect?
You said.
I can talk. I'm gonna call anybody a lying cunt if I want to. Anybody in the room
Yeah,
can.
but you're
That's not what I'm
calling
asking.
him
I'm
names,
asking-
being really
Exactly, you
abusive.
lying cunt.
I'm asking him to stop.
Exactly.
You would know this if you'd stop screaming, you
You
dumb
lying
shit.
cunt.
I'm asking you to stop screaming over people.
Oh, like your
You dumb shit. You dumb shit. Let me talk, dumb shit.
I find it offensive when the moderators end up screaming. The moderators can fix it. They don't have to scream.
I find it offensive when a moderator represents a server here, calling people dumb cunts and lying shits. That's what I.
Well, stop being a dumb cunt.
When I come here, yeah, right. Okay, that's your opinion. That's his opinion.
You're,
the moderator.
you're enjoying a level of latitude that
No,
I
I'm
never get to
enjoying.
enjoy.
I'm enjoying pointing out
You're also
what a
over-talking
biased
everyone
place this
constantly.
is.
I
Let's
tried
be
to get a
clear.
sentence out and I
Let's
couldn't
be
even do that
100%
and I haven't
clear.
spoken for an hour.
Let's be 100% clear. I don't represent the server, and none of the moderators are expected to be nice to anybody. What I'm expected to do is make sure that the conversation continues so that people can speak, which means that I make sure that you're not interrupting people. And when you scream over people to insult them over and over and over and over again, that's what I'm talking about. I don't care what you call curved. Okay? As a moderator, I'm not stopping you from calling him anything. I'm stopping you from fucking screaming over him.
So
And
Kurt
that's why I
misrepresented what
said it was
Rakia said,
mine,
right?
didn't
He misrepresented what Rakia said when he
Did
said
not,
that.
you liar.
Yes,
Why would you
he's a
say
lying
that,
cunt.
Essie? Did you even hear what happened, Essie?
He did not hear. He said he
How
was
did I
wrong.
misrepresent it,
You're not
Essie?
listening.
Well, you said that he accepted all measurements when I said I need an aircraft carrier, I need this, I need an icebreaker, I need. And you said, well, Rakia accepted all the measurements, so we don't need all that. So you misquoted Rakia.
I asked him point blank if he accepted these measurements and distances on the earth that work.
And what did I say?
I said yes.
No, I did not, you lying cunt.
You said, yes, they're close enough. That's what you said.
I said there's distortion in all maps.
Kurt said.
I said it would be close. I said it would be close enough to model out, but it's not accurate. I also said that I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I admitted I could not do it. I didn't have the capability. You lying cunt.
You just said it again. You said it'd be close enough.
Can we rename the Rakia por Poncho Pete? Can we call Rakia Poncho Pete or Piche? Thank you.
Oh, okay. You just said it. You just said again. It's be close enough to model out, which is exactly what we're talking about. So
it wouldn't be accurate
for saying that you said that when you said it again.
Well, he said it would be accurate. You know, we could just use those because it would be accurate. That's not what I said.
It would be accurate. He said exactly what you said again, which I don't know why.
You're lying too. You're a lying, whatever you call me.
To model out, which means that it's useful in using this. You can use the maps that we already have to model it out because it's be close enough to model out.
He just forgot to say that the models are not accurate, right? And that I couldn't do it.
Why
he just forgot to mention that to SC. So he misrepresented me, is what you're saying.
You said this again.
So you're calling him a lying cunt too?
I'm calling you one, man, because you're lying blatantly when everyone just heard what you said. You said be close enough to model out. You just said that again.
Hey, you put the comments wherever you want close enough. It wouldn't be accurate.
Why wouldn't it be accurate?
It's not accurate now. No maps are.
Why? No. What's the why? Explain the why.
Who's that? Is that Bearded Devil?
That's Negator. You can use GPS to travel anywhere around the world.
Oh, Negator, even worse.
Yeah, he's the most polite Glober on in the entire community. He's the most polite.
Who's that? Whose opinion is that?
That's
Who made that vote?
Negator is the most polite person in the entire.
I don't talk to polite people. I don't talk to polite people.
Long and short of it is, you keep on saying stuff that don't have distortion. There's one map that doesn't have distortion. And that's the globe. When you go to latitude and longitude, X, Y, and Z, you always end up at the right place. The only thing wrong with globes is that they're a little bit low in resolution, typically.
They're a job to put in your pocket.
Yes. But they're always accurate.
Yes. Just a flat piece of paper is more convenient to fold up and stick in your pocket.
You can use a string to measure any distance between continents, countries, shipping routes with a piece of string and come up with a damn good representation of distance. The same cannot be flat.
So why can't you use those? Why can't you use those measurements, Rakia?
You can use them if you want. Go ahead.
No, why can't you use them?
Beep, 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 beep. I can't have an answer. Hello?
Why can't you use them?
I could use them. I just said it. They wouldn't be accurate.
It is
but
accurate.
Why? Why wouldn't it be accurate? You keep saying that, but you keep not telling us the why.
How can you verify that they are accurate? You're just doing something point to point like I am.
Well, we're asking how you verified that they are not accurate. You're telling us they aren't.
No, I've already stated that that's my belief.
Okay, but why?
Belief.
Why is that my belief?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We can get into beliefs if you want.
So you say you can believe in untrue things?
I've already said I can't prove it.
Okay, so why say
How
it?
more honest do you want me to be?
You're not honest.
That is being honest. I know y'all don't know what honest is. But I don't know, and I can't prove it otherwise, is being as honest as anyone can be.
And I'm another one. I dispute the measurements of the earth. I dispute them. I dispute your measurements.
Why?
I dispute everything.
Why?
Because I do.
Guys, try not to cut in, and then don't try not to respond to people cutting in, because like he's asking him a specific question. Just let him get to his whatever the response.
He's not going to answer it.
Yeah. You want me to answer it? Why dispute it?
There's a reason that you believe that they're not accurate.
Yes,
we would like to know that reason or some evidence of them.
Yes, I will give you that reason now. Are you ready with that monotone fucking voice? Are you ready to hear it?
Montreal.
Yes. Negator, are you ready? Are you ready to hear it? I'll tell you.
I'm talking to Rakia right now.
Oh, you're talking to Rakia. Rakia, Negator is talking to you right now. I'll take a back seat.
I don't talk to Negator.
Yeah.
Unless you can read his mind, SC Montreal, and then you know what he's thinking. If you can do that, then feel free to answer Negator.
Hey, Cool Hand, hey, Cool Hand Luke, I've already answered Negator.
Right.
I've already answered.
The question is from the entire audience because you told the entire audience, including Brenda, you think the maps aren't accurate. We all want to know.
And I also
why.
told you that's my belief.
Yeah,
Right,
but
and why is
do
that?
you have that belief?
Why is that my belief?
Yeah.
Are you
Yes.
kidding me? Because that's what I believe.
Yeah, but why?
Why? I believe in God because I think something came, from something. This is my reasoning. What's your reasoning that this stuff are not accurate? This is a type of reasoning you can say.
You
What
must
is
have a
your reasoning
reason for your belief.
Yeah.
What's the
Why is
reason,
that such a
Rakia?
strange question?
What
That's
is
my
it?
answer. If y'all want to move on, you can. If you want to keep
It's just-
asking,
you
I'll
just
keep
believe
saying
it?
that's my belief.
You just believe it because you believe it?
For shits and giggles.
Yes, at the moment, that's my belief.
You
Correct.
believe it because you believe it?
Is
Do
there
you
any
want me to
evidence?
say it again? Are y'all thick?
Yeah,
You're
we
a
just-
dishonest person, that's why.
He's got no supposition to base his belief on. He just believes it,
There you go. Exactly.
which
Exactly.
is just so fucking bizarre.
It's a bit pointless, man.
Yeah.
It's pointless to keep asking the question over and over again.
Shout out to SC
Kind of like the way you
Montreal.
guys believe in the Big Bang. Kind of like
Right.
that belief there.
Or space-time bending, or a slew of other
Time,
things that
time
you
dilation,
Has
kind of
reasoning.
like that shit. That
You
kind of like
understand?
the
You
belief.
know
Yeah,
that, though, man. That's why
we have
we say it's
reasons.
bizarre that he's saying he doesn't have a reason to believe that.
You're
The reason why we
ignorant
believe the
of
things that we say we
observation.
believe is because the evidence.
What
Whether it's true or
evidence?
not,
Show me evidence of the Big Bang. Go. What evidence of the Big Bang? Show me.
Action of the universe.
We're not going to chase every raccoon squirrel, okay?
Well,
But,
Rakia is done. Rakia is done, Kosho. He's done.
He doesn't talk to me because he knows he won't get anywhere because he can't.
He's done.
Are you scared
Shout
of
out
Rokia?
to
So
SC Montreal.
mighty of you. You think that's the reason?
You scared Rokia to tell us the reason?
You're too polite, Negator.
You said we didn't have. You said you didn't have a reason.
Well, that's just a bullshit.
Shout out to Rocky and SC Montreal, who are the most respectful people in the whole server.
I think
if your complaint if your reason for not answering someone is because they're polite to you, go fuck yourself. I'll just make sure I say that on a regular basis, so at
So
least
I'll
I
talk
can
to
get
you.
a fucking reply out of your dumb ass. Is that better?
Yeah, that's good. I'll answer you. You got any questions?
No, you're just weird.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I'll answer your questions more now that you said that.
I think Rakia is just a deliberate liar. He knows that the Earth is a globe, and he just lies.
Yeah.
Well, to that point, I have a specific question for Rakia. Rakia, when I asked you if there was a problem with the known measurements distances that we have that work on the Earth, and you replied, and I asked you, what's wrong with them? And you said, nothing. They're probably pretty close. That is you not accepting those measurements? Is that how you want to spend that?
Yes.
That is a direct quote. That is exactly how you replied.
Okay,
You're
then
telling me-
then yes, they're probably pretty close.
Okay, and that's you rejecting the distances, and they're not usable for you to make your flat Earth.
Yeah, yes. Absolutely. Whatever
you're a
you say,
liar.
Kurt.
You're a liar.
No,
You're a liar.
I'm not lying when I say I can't go out and measure the Earth right now. I'm not
So
lying.
when you say
I can't prove it one way or another.
I was asking you why you couldn't use the distances that we already have and know to work. I asked you what was wrong with
And I
those, and you
said that
nothing.
would be fine
They're
in modeling.
probably
It would probably be
close.
pretty close to make a model out of, but it wouldn't be accurate. Isn't that what I
Right.
said?
So what's wrong with them? Nothing. They're probably
Nothing.
pretty close.
Pretty accurate to
That
make
is
a model. Yeah.
rejecting the measurements. That's
Yeah,
you
that's
rejecting
an
the measurements.
honest answer. Yeah.
That's not you rejecting the
I
measurements.
could put the continents, and the angle would probably be a little off. The distance would
This
probably
is
be
why
a little off.
you
Yeah,
like
because I
This is why you
can't
don't like
measure it myself.
You said that the measurements we have, there's nothing wrong with them. They're probably pretty close.
We were talking about me modeling it, Curve, and I said, yeah, I could probably make it pretty close with that. Yeah.
Yes.
But they wouldn't be accurate if I did it.
Okay. You can't even come close with them. You can't even come close.
Can't.
No, you can't.
Okay, well then it's a globe. Hey, good luck to you.
So the guy wearing a toga
globe. Where's the
1,000
globe?
years ago measured it?
Where's the evidence of a globe? What are you talking about?
Yeah, where is the
So
evidence?
how do you feel about that, S.E.
Their evidence is that Rakia can't model it accurately. That's their proof. That's
not
how
my evidence.
sad
That is
your
weak,
evidence is. Kurt.
That is not my evidence.
So show me drop from horizontal plane over a
Not
mile.
you or
Let's see that 8
anyone
inches.
can model it. Not
Can
no
you
one
do
can.
that? So you're saying
No
I
one
can't
can
do
model
something.
what you're
Can
saying.
you do something
Saying that
for me?
nobody can. He just said it again. Everybody's saying nobody can do it, not just you.
You might hear some
Okay,
things if
so
you
when
quit
I
talking
said
over
when I
everybody.
said I can't do it, y'all kept asking me the same question. I didn't hear you step in, Kosho. You piece of junk mod.
You're being a retard more than usual today, man. Curve just said it again.
Yeah, because I'm fed up with it.
Said it, dude.
We all got together last night and had a meeting and said, "It's our turn now. This is our week. Okay, we're gonna take over. We're gonna speak our piece. We're not gonna be nice. We're gonna give them what they deserve. That's what we're doing.
You don't have anything.
Oh, 2021's our year, bro. Fuck a week.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have anything though, and Flat Earth is dying. Flat Earth
You
is
don't
dying.
have drop from horizontal there, sweetheart. You need that for a shape of a sphere.
Drop from horizontal. What is that?
Yeah, when you create a horizontal plane over a
She said, "What is
surface
that?"
that's undisturbed.
No, all we need to do is
It's
show
called
that there is an
geometry.
angle. There is an angle of drop to the horizon as we gain elevation.
A
And
drop
that
from
alone we
horizon
can
is not a
establish the
measurement of shape. Drop from
that is
horizon.
actually
No, it's
that's a
not.
measurement of shape.
It literally is.
You're
It literally is.
observing
And
how
if I'm not
optics work.
Rakia, can I finish my point? I'm trying not to shout over
You mean
I'm
of the drop from horizontal?
Can I finish my point?
I heard your point.
I haven't finished it, and I would like. And if you've got problems with that, we can make that same observation in multiple places around the world to see if it maintains consistency. And if it does, the Earth is a fucking globe.
Do it all at once, all the way around the world, and then do it 6 months from now, and 3 months from then, and 3 months before then.
You can
and
do
in the
whatever
morning and the
experiments you wanna
nighttime,
do.
and all the measurements will be different. You know why? Because it's an optical measurement through the atmosphere, which is constantly
no, they won't
changing.
be different. They
Sure
will
they
vary.
would.
No, they will vary depending of the height of the camera.
So
above the
very, right?
No.
Even if you leave the
all
camera
cameras are the
still.
same height, if the
Oh,
cameras
okay.
are all the same height, it'll show the
No,
same.
even
What
if you-
about the
even if
atmospheric
you leave the
conditions,
camera-
Brenda?
Even if you leave the camera still, it'll still change. Just give
Yeah,
it
because
if
of
we
the
take-
atmospheric conditions
If we
of the
take
day.
those readings at about 3,000 feet, let's take a nice arbitrary number, and we've got a nice view to our horizon, it's going to be the square root of fuck all difference.
trying to
because
get
the
away
height
from
of
it,
the-
Rock, yeah.
You're 3,000 foot above the horizontal plane, creating a horizontal, and then asking why the horizontal plane is below the horizontal. That's moronic. It's
Guys,
because
I'm not
you went up
asking
in
that
elevation.
question.
Around the circle again.
And funny enough, if
They're having
you
a
know, I'm
conversation,
not asking
Kosho.
that question, am I? I'm basically just saying if I look
But you're
level and
not a
I
part
measure
of.
an angle down to the horizon, then that's the observation we're making. If it's a
Having to
flat
measure
plane,
down.
the laws of perspective say that the horizon should come up to eye line. It doesn't. That is a problem in your model. The general refraction we see is to make things look flatter, not more curvy. And even that's not working in your fucking favor.
As you go up, you can't extend out to the horizon. You see where the optical limits of your vision see the horizon at, which I agree. Most of the days will be below that horizontal line you're creating, and the angle you're measuring down to because you went up. Jesus, man.
I'd like to ask Foolish a question. Foolish.
Sure.
Foolish. If the Earth was flat, would the horizon be at eye level everywhere?
No, I'd say generally it would be slightly above eye level most of the time. If
It would be above eye level?
If refraction held true and what we're seeing is
Oh,
general
okay.
looming. But from the laws of perspective, you know, any plane extending off to the limit of our perspective is going to rise to eye level. That is something.
Did you take the atmospheric magnification into account with this flat Earth theory of yours, Druss?
Druss, what's your angle of incidence to cause this refraction of the horizon up to looming above the horizontal?
It would be a positive index of refraction.
Why?
Because it would loom something slightly.
Why?
You're making me question myself, Curve, and I hate that because that's normally when I'm wrong.
Well, you're talking about like when you're down close to the surface.
Yeah.
about a
I'm
6 foot,
talking if I'm
average,
making an observation at shoreline, not if
height
I'm making an
observation.
observation at elevation. I couldn't even gain an idea of what it would look like up there.
Yeah, if the Earth were flat, you don't have anything to really refract it up above eye level.
I see where you're going now. Oh.
And if you
He
had
led
visibility,
you good enough.
if you had visibility to see far enough that it would appear to rise to eye level, absolutely. That's how a flat plane would appear in your view. No doubt about that.
Tell him, Kirk.
This is why,
And that's what we don't see. As you raise up in elevation, it should still follow you. It should still raise up to eye level. You know, because how
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, your ramp, Jeremy. Your goddamn stupid fucking ramp, Jeremy. Remember how you think the Earth fucking ramps up? It appears that way due to geometry, dipshit.
Yeah, but you're saying that the
Geometry
horizon
doesn't
would
change
appear to...
just because you increase in elevation, Jeremy.
You're saying that the horizon would always raise to eye level. Where are you getting that from?
If you're down near and if you're up, because that's how the geometry of it works. You see barred up, the difference, the angular difference between, you know, if you're up at if you're at 6 feet above the plane and, you know, miles out different distance, the angular difference is so small you're not really going to be able to perceive it being below your eye level. It'll appear that it's at your eye level. You got to break out measurements, tools to measure it, to see that it's not actually at your eye level. Now, when you go up higher, it's easier to measure the drop. If we see that on the globe, but with the flat Earth, it should still continue to rise.
Not true.
Unless there's something in the way.
That's not true.
It's absolutely fucking true. You're not true, Jeremy, and I gotta go.
Can't see far enough, also. And curve, by the way, on your spirit model as you gain
I'm gone. Fuck off with you. Fuck up.
And you
I'm
measure
gone.
drop from horizontal.
Dickhead, you're not talking to me. I'm gone.
Is that Earth curve? Or is that drop from
Rakia,
horizontal?
please stop speaking. Like, be a reasonable person. He just said, I have to.
So
leave.
he can
So don't
stick
ask me
around and
questions
tell
as
me,
you
answer that I'm gone 20 times. So Kosho, can you answer? That drop to the horizontal, is that Earth curve, sir? Or is that horizon dip?
Curved ran away.
No, I'm asking Kosho, since Curve had.
I was just saying Curved ran away.
He didn't run away, man. He has got to go somewhere.
We know he didn't run away, Kosho. That's why I'm asking you.
Rakia, shut up, dude.
Hey, Kosho, I can answer that question. So
go ahead, Brenda.
You can just use Alberoni's method to.
No, I didn't ask that. I did not ask that.
You asked about.
I asked if it was Earth curve, Brenda, or dip of the horizon.
The dip is a good way to measure the curvature of the Earth, just like Alberoni.
That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked.
It's a terrible way.
Brenda,
the dip is a measure.
Let
of
me
the
ask
Earth's
you one more
curvature.
time, see if you're going to be honest. Brenda, when you gain altitude and you shoot a horizontal and the horizon appears to be lower than your horizontal line, which is geometry, is that Earth curve, Brenda?
That's a measurement that you can use to.
She can't answer it.
It's a measurement of Earth curvature.
Because
Anybody else?
Measurement of Earth curve.
No, it's not.
Rakia,
It's not an Earth curve. Then it's just a dip of the horizon.
Part of the measurement used by Alberoni to measure the curvature of the Earth.
Alberoni measured to an optical place. He didn't measure to
Brenda,
a physical place.
Rakia wants you to commit to this being literally only geometrically physical. He wants you to make a statement in the context of no atmosphere, right? So that's how he'll interpret it.
Yeah.
So yes, we see that, but we see it through atmosphere.
Yeah.
Of course you do, and that creates optical effects, right, Negator? Like looming, sinking, miraging, towering.
Refraction, basically.
Refraction.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Negator? As we see
it's all
through the
these
atmosphere over, let's say, I don't know, 100 miles.
Stupid. He hates.
Was that yes?
The thing is, Rakia.
That's how something appears through atmosphere.
Now, it doesn't necessarily appear only because of atmosphere. That's what you're asserting. It's only the atmosphere doing that. That's not true.
Have you ever seen a day without an atmosphere?
So atmosphere, right, Negator, not Earth curve, as I was muted as I was asking that question to you.
That's both.
Atmospheric conditions create an optical illusion, you know, mirages. So not Earth curve, Negator.
Why can't it be both?
I know you can answer honestly, and I know you're smart enough to know this.
Yeah, it did.
If you can't answer, just nod your head twice.
Sound like he answered you 3 times.
It sounded to me like his answer.
Yeah, he did. He answered atmosphere. Yeah.
He answered both. You're lying.
No, he answered atmosphere,
No, he didn't.
which if you introduce atmosphere, which you have to, because we all know there's atmosphere,
You're so
as y'all cut me off, then you have to introduce looming and sinking. And if you say the horizon is a physical place, then you have to introduce that physical object could be loomed up or sinking down. Don't you, Negator?
Yeah, we know that.
Y'all heard that?
It's
So
so
not
weird.
proof of
talking
Earth curve,
again.
right? So not proof of Earth curve then, right, Negator? Proof of looming and sinking?
Well, how did you deduce
No,
that it's
don't
not
ask
Earth
me
curve?
anything. Don't ask me anything. These are known facts that we're talking
Why are
about,
you going
right?
to answer his questions if he's not prepared to address yours, Negator? That
I'm
doesn't
not-
seem to be reasonable or even fair.
Yeah, there you go. You can mute. I'll go on to the next person.
Nobody wants to talk to you.
All you're doing is just screaming at
Brenda,
people and
I'd
not
answer.
giving
She
people
might
an
not
opportunity
answer.
to talk. It would be nice if you let people finish their points. That would be
Well,
really
when I
helpful
asked the question, Mr. Smoothie, and he said, and maybe people didn't hear that as yes, it's looming and sinking and not Earth curve.
I caught
No,
that
that's,
very
uh,
clearly. I
So
understood
that's
that
not.
very clearly.
I said several times that it's both, and you asked me if looming and sinking, all those things exist, and I said yes. What I did not agree to is that it was only those things, and what you've yet to show is that it is only those things.
Okay, when you insert Earth curve, then let's see it. Let's see that measurement drop from horizontal plane.
What does that mean?
Because we've already established, when I asked that before, that y'all say the horizon dips, that's just an atmospheric illusion, right? That's just how the atmosphere
How did we
affects our sight.
establish?
So
How did we
what you
establish
have to
that's
do,
the
as
only
you
thing?
cut me off,
But how
is
did we-
physically measure the drop from horizontal plane. You have to measure that. You can't just optically show it through atmosphere, because then you bring in the refractive effects, thinking, looming, towering, miraging.
So you said we've established that it's only atmospheric effects. Can you explain how
No,
that's been established?
you established that.
Oh,
Us
how did
together.
I do that? How did we do
Because you agreed.
that? Agreed to what?
You agreed that it's both, right?
I can't
It's
agree
Earth
that
curve.
it's both and that it's
You-
only one of them,
So
which is what
which
you're
is it?
stating.
No, I'm agreeing that you agreed that it's both. It's Earth curve in your mind and looming and sinking, atmospheric conditions, right?
Yeah, and?
Okay, so now we know how looming and sinking work through the atmosphere. Now what you need to do is physically prove that drop from horizontal with a physical measurement to prove that the part that you say is Earth curve is correct. If you don't, then it's just atmospheric conditions, how we see over distance.
I know how to do that. I know how to do that. You know how you do that, Rakia? You know how you do it?
Yes, I know how you do it. You create a horizontal. You asked me and then you interrupted.
I'm sorry.
You asked me 3 times, do I know how to do it? And as soon as I started to answer, you interrupted.
Whining,
So
you fucking crying.
yes, I know how
Good.
you do it. You create a horizontal plane over a level surface, such as undisturbed water, and you measure the drop from that horizontal plane.
How many
No,
times?
that's
did
not
you
how
go
you.
down
That's
there?
not how you do it. The way you do it, Rakia, is you would subtract the effect due to refraction from the overall dip. That's
So
how
you
do it.
would assume something, and then calculate the refractive effects, right, of the light to calculate your measurement of Earth curve. Good luck.
You would subtract. You would count the refraction as a margin of error.
At what point is that a physical measurement?
No, you would just count refraction.
So
as
not physical measurement then.
As a margin of error. It would be within your error bars.
So not physical measurement then.
What-
Not
can
drop
you-
from horizontal.
What is a physical measurement? Can you tell us how
I'm
to do
going to
that?
buy some ammo. I'll be back.
Oh wow!
Ding 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 ding.
Back to how an awful lot of Americans settled the arguments. I'm just
Sadly, you're not wrong.
Sadly, it's the truth, and y'all
my
can't
favorite
handle the
story
truth.
ever on that was a gunfight in Arizona, and it was just this litany of statistics. It was like 6 people were shot, 172 rounds were fired, and then you go through a whole load of other stuff, and then at the end it says over a parking space.
I think there was one story back in the Old West where 2 opponents were chasing each other around a poker table, shooting at each other, and never hit each other.
Yep, smooth war guns were that accurate.
And the guys playing poker were probably drunk. It's just a wild guess.
Yeah, it's a wild guess. So do you understand? Hey, Jeremy, do you understand that though? With the Al-Biruni measurement, you take refraction into account, and you simply list it as a degree of error. It's within your error bar, your margin of error, right? You understand that?
No, you're not measuring drop though with that. You're just measuring. You're just observing what appears to be drop through the atmosphere.
So in Al-Biruni's measurement, he went high up into a mountain in order to increase the drop from horizon, and thereby reduce the overall effect of the margin of error caused by refraction.
Yeah, the thing is, we would expect to see the horizon drop on a flat Earth.
Yeah, well, we do see it. We do see.
Okay, that's what we expect on a flat Earth. Perfect.
No, you don't. We just talked about how you don't expect that on a flat Earth.
No, Curve made a baseless assertion that we wouldn't.
Well, so
what's your
Dress also confirmed that, and Dress confirmed that also, that you would expect.
No, me and Brandon did an observation thing where we made a circle for our vision of sight and then went up, and it in fact did appear to drop.
So what I'm trying to understand here, Jeremy, is one, how far did that plane extend out from you as you raised your elevation? And secondly, can you produce anything anything documented or tests that have been documented that demonstrates your point? I can do that for my point. Can you do it for yours?
I've done it myself. It was on one of his shows. We got all kinds of video, photographic evidence of it. So, you can get a hula hoop and do this yourself.
Jeremy, is a hula hoop going to be big enough?
It just demonstrates. We did bigger things. Brandon actually did something bigger. He went and made a circle. I don't know what it was, 50 meters, 20 meters, something.
Well, how big was it? Because that's important.
I don't have all the details right now, but the thing is, you would expect to see the horizon drop.
Well, over particular distances that are scaled, and that's the important piece.
On a flat Earth.
Right,
on a flat Earth, you expect to see horizon drops. I don't know what this is all. This is all bullshit you guys got. More non-definitive shit you guys got.
Jeremy, did you hear what I just said?
Did you hear what I said?
I
about
did.
How it's not definitive?
So your experiment is or is not definitive?
It's not. We would expect to see it drop on a flat Earth and a globe. So what's definitive about it?
So here's a picture that we have, a nice picture.
Right. Explain to me how this is definitive,
and yeah, I'm just trying to explain that now. So we've got a nice picture, and it's showing perspective, and it's showing a very long corridor, one of the longest corridors, I think, in Europe. It's in one of the UN buildings. And that corridor, we can see, is at eye level to the camera, where it ends. And you can see the floor and the ceiling coming to meet together, which is exactly what we'd expect due to the laws of perspective. So that's can you show me an image where like that?
So hold on.
The eye line?
I thought you were about to explain to me how this was definitive of the horizon drop on a globe.
I'm showing laws of perspective in effect. That's what I'm proving at the moment.
So you're claiming that the horizon drops on a globe is because of perspective?
No, I'm showing you what would happen on a flat plane, which is what you're claiming. If it's flat, this is flat. Yeah, it's nice, it's long. And we can see everything coming to a point, which is exactly
how do you
what
prove
we would
that
expect.
floor is flat?
What is this picture showing?
It's showing that on a long picture, on a long view like that, the horizon is at eye level.
Yeah.
There's no fucking horizon here. What are you talking about? There's a door at the end of the hallway or something.
That's the horizon for this image, right?
Okay, well, let's see him raise up. Let's see him raise up, and we'll see if that door appears to drop.
Let's see the hallway be an infinite sky
stupid.
above you, and you're on the floor looking down into infinite distance. Let's see that
This is
with
just dumb.
atmosphere. And every definition of
There is atmosphere in there, by the way.
every different definition of the horizon says it appears, meaning it's optical, appears to rise to your eye level, toward your eye level.
All right, this isn't fun. Jose's probably open right now.
I need to get your wording straight. Y'all are trying to turn this around on it can't happen on a flat plane.
Just bow out
and it
peacefully,
can.
Moyak.
When you introduce atmosphere and the sky, the ceiling being much higher than the eye level, and the floor being much closer to the eye level, then that optical effect is going to be different as if the floor and the ceiling are the same height, the eye level's in the middle. You need to take that into an account. It's called optical illusions. And then when you introduce atmosphere, man, you got yourself some
There's
fun
atmosphere.
times.
There's atmosphere in this image.
Yes, there's atmosphere in the hallway, Brenda, we know. But it's not quite the same as you go out view something over water now, is it? Don't try and deceive me.
You didn't say anything about water. You said it when you introduce atmosphere, but this image has atmosphere.
I know what you're doing. You're trying to say there's air in the hallway, so it's the same thing. Although you know it's not.
Yeah, it is.
As in my example, when you go out in the sky and you're out in the atmosphere, the dynamic system, not the controlled environment of a hallway. Right, Brenda?
Oh, okay. So now we're just going to equivocate because all I'm trying to show is the law of perspective in operation.
Yeah.
And now you want to change it to something else. Okay.
No, I didn't change it. I brought it out into reality where we're viewing things perspective-wise with atmosphere,
is that not reality?
which is outside.
Yeah, exactly. You're now just making excuses for why you want to hand over away the evidence.
I'm proving how you're being deceptive.
All I am trying to show is that Jeremy's example in his model of using a hula hoop or whatever he used doesn't seem to be analogous to what we observe in a long corridor.
Your shit's not analogous. Raise up and tell me if the door is the horizon at the end of that hallway. Raise the camera up and let's see if the door drops.
Sure it does.
It wouldn't. It would come to a point of perspective.
The door wouldn't drop.
On
the door
wouldn't
appear to drop if you raise
it wouldn't
up.
appear to drop. No, because you're getting the laws. You're getting it coming up to your eye level because of the length of the corridor.
This is the depths you have to go. You know you would have to look further down.
Yeah, real quick, just you're not shouting right this second, Rakia, so I appreciate that.
Oh, Kosha, why did you interrupt that then? I was listening to that back and forth.
Kimo, please hold
What did you interrupt it for?
Kimo, please stop. But yeah, if everybody could stop interrupting that way, people don't have to scream. And then Rakia.
Kosha, what did you interrupt that conversation
Kimo,
for?
stop.
I'm asking you a question. Why did you interrupt that conversation?
Saying something, dude. Just wait till I'm done.
They were having a very sensible conversation, and now they've probably forgotten their points because you wanted to say what?
I'm actually going to drop out of this conversation because I don't want.
Alright, catch you later then, Dress. Again, bow up peacefully. James told you if you're going to leave, just leave quietly. You don't need to make announcements and like you leaving and all this.
Thank you. God, that's everybody stop shouting, and then people who are shouting.
Just because you guys have had enough of the flat earther.
Stop, dude.
You just stopped the conversation, Kosha, to do
what? Kosha?
Watch how I immediately carry the conversation on when I'm done talking, Kimo.
As soon as the conversation was going great, you interrupted.
Exactly. So for us now just to stop you, Kosha, and interrupt your flow of a conversation because you want to stop what? What should we stop? What exactly should we stop, Kosha? You want to get what you want to say out when other people are already having a conversation. You stop people from talking.
Kimo, please stop.
I'm asking you, why did you stop the conversation that was already happening?
Please stop, and I'll address you after I address Rakia.
No, I want to know. Well, you stopped the conversation, so why can't I stop your conversation?
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a rat's ass what you want to know.
Yeah, so exactly. I don't care what you want to know. We're not interested in what you have to say, Kosha. There was already a conversation going on.
We were having a conversation.
We're not interested in what you have to say, Kosha. We were already talking. No one's interested, Kosha. We were already having a conversation.
I don't want you to answer my question.
Nobody needs to answer, Kosha. We were already having a conversation. We don't need you to answer question talking, Kosher. We're already in the middle of a conversation.
This isn't complicated.
Yeah, they're not children. They don't need you every 6 minutes to stop people talking and say, right, you need to talk like this, got to talk like that, you should talk like this. We don't need to hear your opinion on the conversation, Kosher. There was already a conversation going. No, you stop talking. Why are you talking? There was already a conversation going on. What do you want to say that is relevant to the conversation? You want to derail the conversation and gatekeep? They were already talking about something.
The conversation.
No, you were trying to gatekeep and derail and talk about something else. Stop the flow because Raki was winning. Raki was making good points, and now you decide, oh, I'm not a part of the conversation. I need to say something right now. Why do you need to say something? Why do you need to get involved in every single conversation? It was already going on. They were just fine. We hear arguments all day long. They get a little bit hairy. That can happen, but no one's been abusive. They were making their points loud and clear. Why every 5 minutes you've got to jump in and say, hold on, guys, I need to make some order here. You're talking this way, I don't like it. You're talking about I don't like it. We don't need to hear it, Kosher.
To stop screaming for no reason.
Nobody's going to listen to that, Kosher, because they will talk however they like. They are adults. They don't need you to tell them that they should talk like this and talk like that. If you carry on like this, you're going to run off the people who are freely expressing themselves, and they're not here for you to tell them to speak in a certain manner or to speak in a certain order.
Okay.
No, it's not. They leave. No, Coach. We try to prevent that. We want people to speak freely. If you don't like what you're hearing, then you should mute yourself, step out for a while if you don't want to hear the noise. People get angry, upset about the topic. That's what will happen. They're going to get a bit feisty. That's what will happen. But it's not a big deal. They're men. They can control themselves. They don't need you every minute to tell, oh, guys. I'm pretending to be Veach here. Let me pretend to be Veach and then tell people to stop talking.
Do you ever look at yourself sometimes?
I'm doing what you're doing. Stopping people from talking. They were talking. You decided, just out of the blue, do you know what? I need to get my mod's worth in here and say, hey, you guys should talk like this, talk like that. Who cares what you think how people should talk? Let them speak. Let them grow. Let them find out how they can operate in this world. They don't need you. Who are you? You're just a mod. You're here to make sure the conversation is flowing, not stopping it. Goodness sakes.
Stop the whole conversation.
Exactly, because Kosher wants to step in.
Or is Chemo not doing this, perpetuating this bullshit?
Yeah,
simply ask for Key to stop screaming.
Stop screaming. Why? Why?
Chemo, shut the fuck up.
You got a headache. So you're screaming. You got a headache.
Something again, dude.
You got a headache or something. Why don't you even take a tablet or something?
You're allowed to rant on for fucking minutes. You're right. You're bullshit. No one's interrupting you.
So you're saying I don't want screaming. You're screaming right now. But you don't want what you've just said you're doing right now. So what kind of hypocrisy are we listening to right now? People will scream.
You're shouting at us, Kosher.
People will get upset. It's a debate. That's the very point.
I'm going to speak now, Chemo, and you're going to stop talking.
I won't, though. At the time you broke in, I wasn't yelling. You even said I wasn't yelling. You said we were having a civil conversation. For some reason, you had to jump in. Why you want to stop me from talking?
You guys won't stop. Please stop.
If you weren't talking, we wouldn't be talking over you.
Yeah, so I can respond to one of you.
We would not be talking over you if you wasn't in this
conversation. There's nothing to respond to here, Kosho. They were having a conversation. Let them carry on.
And then you were allowed to finish speaking, and I started when you were done, right?
You think the people in the chat like this, Kosho?
Just let them carry on, Kosho. We don't need to hear your input. They were talking about measurements. That's all we need to hear about is measurements, not you telling them they should talk at this level or that level or this fast or this slowly because you've got a headache. Who cares about your headache? Go and take a pill.
Stop talking.
Stop telling me to stop talking, Kosho. This is the point. If there's a conversation going on, you were the one that interrupted in the first place. You're not getting that. There was already a conversation going on. You decided to interrupt that conversation. So that means when you talk, we can interrupt your conversation because you're setting the bar here. That when people are talking, we can just start talking.
I'm just going to mute you, Chemo.
Well, go on then.
Okay. Right. So what I was saying to Rakia was...
Go on then, mute me then.
I understand that you're not...
Are you muting me too?
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
I'll remove his mods if he does that.
I don't want to hear, dude.
I know you don't. As a mod, you should. As a mod, you should.
Kosho, I'll take your mods off you.
I'll kick you right now.
We don't need you to have a conversation, Kosho. We do not need you.
Rakia, please stop speaking.
Do you understand that?
Please stop.
Kosho, you've got no right here, actually. This is the point. They were already talking, now we're talking about you. What is the point of that?
As a matter of fact, when you butted out, that's when the conversation got good. Notice when you were in the conversation was terrible.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah,
you noticed that, huh, Kosha?
The conversation was if you stop speaking now, to get back to it.
Stop speaking. So you decide when we start, when we stop, when we stop, when we stop.
Shut the fuck up, Chemo.
When you took a break, me, Dress, and Jeremy were having a conversation.
That's fantastic,
and
Rakia.
only when you came back
That's
from
fantastic,
break
Rakia.
and
If you stop talking,
Kosho, they were already talking. Why would they stop talking in the middle of a conversation? Why? For what reason?
Chemo, stop.
I'm asking you, why would they stop talking in the middle of a conversation?
So Chemo.
Quit yelling, man. No one wants to hear that. Quit
It doesn't
yelling,
matter,
man.
dude.
That's ridiculous.
It's as simple as me asking.
Well, just like you don't want to hear what we have to say, we're saying we don't want to hear what you have to say in this moment. They were already talking about measurements, which is much more important than hearing you saying.
The chat doesn't want to hear you yelling, Kosho. Put yourself on mute.
Just let Kosho get it out, and then we'll move on. Come on, guys.
I'm simply asking you to stop screaming for no reason, Rakia. That's what I asked you to do. When I'm being interrupted, I'm going to scream at you. Okay? When you get interrupted, you scream at people. I'm asking you when you're just talking to people and you're interrupting them even, don't scream at them. People are complaining about it. It's that simple.
If it happens, it happens.
You guys were talking. Chemo, shut the fuck up.
If it happens,
you guys
it
are talking
happens.
About the door.
People
You guys
get
are talking
upset.
about the door in perspective. Stop talking.
No, you're not going to tell people how to talk.
Please stop talking. I'm talking to Jeremy, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, well, you're not going to tell people how to talk. They express themselves in different ways, and we're here for free speech, Kosho, and that's it.
For the love of God, Chemo. Shut
Just
the fuck
let him
up.
get it out so we can move on, guys. Come on.
Yeah, Jeremy, you were exactly where you were. You were at the door in perspective, and whether it rises or drops due to perspective as you move away from it. Yeah.
Yes, and of course, if we raise up, the door is going to appear to drop.
Thanks, Kosho. You're a big help because we were already there without you.
They don't need a babysitter, right? They're adults. They can discuss, get upset. If they want to get upset, they have every right to. If someone's lying to them, let them get upset about it. You'll say, no, take the lie nice and calmly. Just relax as they lie to you. Sometimes it gets
quote Don.
Kick me again and see what the fuck happens, okay?
I didn't kick you. I didn't do anything to you, Kosho, but I said to you, don't make silly threats like that, okay? I'm not going to mess around with your mods. Don't mess around with me.
You just did, Chemo.
No, I didn't.
When I'm in the middle of talking to people, and then you cut me off for 3 minutes, that's messing with me trying to say something, dude. It doesn't have to take 5 minutes to say a simple thing.
I thought you said I kicked you out of the room. I didn't do that. No.
The point is, the door is going to appear to drop as you raise up. Obviously, everyone knows that. This is exactly what we expect on a flat plane, the horizon to drop as you raise in altitude, obviously.
And on that point, that door is a physical object. The horizon is not. It's made up of physical things, but it's just a point in the sky where the sky appears to meet the ground.
So now the horizon doesn't rise to eye level? Y'all changed?
It never has risen to eye level. It just appears to rise towards eye level. Oh, like you haven't never heard that before. Come on, man, you're honest. You know you've heard that. Now, when one flat earther says it rises to eye level, y'all take that as gold. And actually, that's true. It appears to. Even in the definitions and wiki and all that, that's what they say, right? That's what they say if you go look it up. It appears to rise to eye level. That's what happens. It's an optical effect. It's actually an illusion once you add in atmospheric conditions over distance. Because no way, no how do you have a non-refracted day, a day with no atmosphere. You know why you have refraction with light? Because you're looking through atmosphere over distance. Very simple. Even a layman like me can understand it. That's why it's so frustrating when the proclaimed smart people who know everything there is to know about light, which is impossible, but that's their claim. They can't get it. That means they're either being deceptive or they're not as smart as they think they are. Your choice on which one it is. Somehow I got through all of that without Kosho helping.
I don't know.
Yeah, if I ask you to shut the fuck up and stop screaming, it's not because I'm helping you.
Hey, man, I'm a grown-ass man. I don't need you to tell me
I'm
anything.
saying something.
I don't need your help. I don't care what you're saying,
Kia, stop interrupting
me. I do not care.
I don't care, Kia. Stop interrupting me.
All you can do,
interrupt me or anybody else,
the only thing you can do to me is mute me. And if that gives you some time of glory, power,
I want to finish saying what I'm saying.
You want.
Just like
be a biased prick every time you can and show your true colors.
Why can't
notice again that you started talking and the conversation went to shit.
Rakia, why can't you act like an adult? Adults don't scream and yell.
Adults scream and yell all the time when they're passionate. All the time.
Yeah, you're triggered.
And when you're trying to deceive me and my loved ones, if you don't get triggered every now and then, if you're an emotionalist,
you get all screamy about the flat
if you're
earth,
an emotionalist moron and you talk in a monotone voice all the time, it means you have no passion.
I think he's talking about you.
Don't care about things.
I think he was talking about you.
You must not care. You must not care if your kids get lied to.
Earth. I think it's funny that you get all yelly and screamy over.
I think it's funny that you're here telling people that you don't care.
He tunes out to emotional stuff. Let's try to keep it down for the people that tune out, okay?
Okay, good idea.
I know it's been a while since your kids were toddlers, but damn, you act like a toddler. That's for sure.
Click on my name, press mute, and go on about your day.
No, it's actually entertaining to watch a grown man
be
yell and
entertained.
scream
Then be entertained.
About the flat earth.
Can we get back
then
to
be entertained. Don't act
when
you come here to be entertained that you're entertained.
What was
That's
the topic,
moronic.
Jeremy? Can you remind us before we go?
No, it's free entertainment, man. It's hilarious.
What were we?
Okay, in chat, they're trying to say perspective isn't an illusion. Whoever says that thinks the ground must actually be ramping up and the ceiling must actually be ramping down for that statement to be true.
Yeah.
Hey, Black Death, aren't you the loser that's always on the side chat, always demeaning people and that? Isn't that what you do all day long? What a sad life you have.
No,
dude.
I'm
What
here
a
for
loser.
entertainment, dude.
I'm glad
It's
you're on
very
so I can tell you in
free
person.
entertainment.
You are a sad loser, dude.
I
would
guess
hate to be in your
perspective-
shoes, man. You are pathetic.
I guess those train tracks actually do converge.
That's
right?
what I
Those
mean,
parallel
Rock.
lines?
Yeah, that's what I mean, Rocky. They say it's not an illusion. Do you think the train tracks are actually, coming, getting closer together with distance?
What do you mean by perspective's not an illusion? What does that mean?
Well, it means it's a distortion of reality. So when you look at the train tracks, Lemon, and you see that they appear to be getting closer, obviously that's a distortion of reality. That's not really happening. We know that the train tracks aren't getting closer together, therefore illusion. We know it's an illusion. The Globers are trying to say it's not an illusion in the debate chat box here.
Who said that, Jeremy? So you can call them out and not
Bill
just
KO, a couple other people.
Then call them out.
Scroll through.
Don't
You
say
can
that
scroll
everybody.
through the chat and look.
I
They're
didn't
listening.
say that
They're
shit.
listening, and I'm letting them know that they're idiots.
I didn't say that shit. Don't pin it on me.
Damn, wrong.
Scroll up and see.
Fuck.
Oh, was Jeremy rolling out the straw man again?
Let's scroll up and
Yeah.
see. Nope. Let's scroll up and
Jeremy,
see.
what is an illusion?
Yeah.
Define illusion.
Because people keep posting shit.
He's trying to back
An
up
illusion is
his
some
earlier
sort
claims.
of sensation that doesn't guide you in reality in the proper fashion.
Whatever. You either
When
delete
you're
it
to
or
my left and I
When
hear your
train
voice
tracks appear to
coming
get
to me
close
from my
together.
left,
Hey.
and I go to my left and you're there, that's not an illusion. But if you're to my left and I hear your voice to my
Oh,
right,
here we go.
that's going to be more of an illusion.
Okay,
Here we
so
go.
when the
Dr.
train
Wyrick.
tracks
Dr.
appear
Wyrick,
to get
illusion
closer
is a
together in the
distortion
distance,
of norm. Perspective
obviously,
is norm. Just
Jeremy,
because you idiots. What's up?
when train tracks
Talking at the same
appear to
time,
get
so
close,
why do I got to be the
Jeremy,
one to stop them? You asked for a specific citation.
Well,
Someone in chat that said it.
freaking Lemon
We
decided to
both
answer
started
instead.
talking at the same
So-
time. Why do I have to be the one to stop? I'm just curious.
Sorry, Jeremy.
You didn't even
You
let
have
him talk.
spoken more than the other guy has, so it'd be nice for you to do that.
All
That would
right,
be
go
generous
ahead.
of you.
Fine, go.
So when we say it's not an illusion, when it appears in the distance that the train tracks are getting closer together, it's because it doesn't appear that the train tracks are getting closer together. That's not how reality works. We know that because they're going off into the distance, that they're staying the same distance apart. What would be an illusion is if it looked like they're going off into the distance, but in reality, it's just like a little 2D, train track that's right next to you, or one of those rooms that makes it look like that, one person's really big and one person's really small, but train tracks going off in the distance isn't a fucking illusion. That's just perspective.
Okay,
we understand
illusion.
how perspective works.
Definition: illusion, a thing that is likely to be wrongly perceived or interpreted by the sentence.
Okay, so when train tracks go
hold
off
on
in
a
the
second,
distance,
guy. Hold on a second.
we understand converging.
No, I wasn't done. Quick to jump in. Just let's just calm down. So now that we know that it's a thing that is likely to be wrongly perceived, and we perceive the train tracks as meeting in the distance, and we know that's wrong, and we know that's wrong.
No,
what?
The thing is, we don't perceive them as meeting in the distance. Just because they get closer together as in our visual field as they get further away, we understand because we live in reality that those train tracks aren't getting closer together. That's not an illusion. It's just perspective. You're confusing perspective with illusion, and it's not the fucking same thing, Jeremy.
Are the train tracks in reality getting closer together?
Of course they're fucking not, but they don't appear to be getting closer together. Or their angular size is getting smaller as they get further away. That's not a fucking illusion, Jeremy.
When we look at the train tracks and see them getting closer
perspective is not
together,
illusion, unless it's a forced perspective that makes you see something that's not actually there.
So you're saying that just because we understand it properly, we know it's not an illusion, but you could still make the case that it's an illusion if I hold a penny in front of a car and the penny appears to be the same size as the car constructed. So the case can be made either way, even with our understanding of perspective.
Okay, so when we look at the train tracks and see them appearing to get closer together, are we perceiving that?
Close together. They appear to go off into the distance. They appear to go off into the distance. They don't appear to get close together. They appear to go off into the distance.
Him to stop interrupting you. He doesn't listen. Please stop interrupting me, man. If I ask people to do that, I'm gonna get fucking talked to for 5 minutes. But please stop interrupting.
We're at the point where neither, in particular the globe side, doesn't really want to concede a point. So rather than getting bogged down in this, minor point that would otherwise be pretty well understood, I guess we could just move on. If you don't want to concede, that's fine. But let it be known that the train tracks appear to come together, despite the fact that they do not, which is kind of an illusion.
We're wrong. Is it wrongly perceived? Would you say that's wrongly perceived, Lemon?
No, I'd say it's not.
Lemon. That was to Lemon. That was the Lemon. Would you say that's
Would I say that's wrongly perceived? I would, but I think the other dude would not concede that and say that we understand perspective and understand that that's not happening. So we can agree to disagree.
Just because you understand how an illusion works doesn't mean it's not an illusion.
On some level,
the thing is, it's not wrongly perceived.
We know the train tracks aren't getting closer together.
We know that. That's how perspective works. When things go off in the distance, their angular size gets smaller. That makes it, vanishing points occur. We understand that. That's not an illusion unless it's something that's actually really close to you and it actually is getting close together, but it appears to be going off in the distance or the other way around.
Just because you know how
you don't understand what an illusion is. If you think that train tracks converging in the distance is an illusion.
Just because you know how an illusion works doesn't mean it's not an illusion. You're stupid.
Well, the thing is, we know how perception works, so we're not going to be deceived. So I get what you're saying in that it's not an illusion that can deceive us because we accurately know how it works.
Right.
But we do kind of see that illusion coming in when we think that it's a hump of Earth curvature that's actually obstructing and getting in the way like a wall that is rising up in our view to obstruct what's beyond, as opposed to understanding it's an illusion from perspective over a flat plane with nothing that's actually in the way. So that kind of deception still lingers over the flat plane.
I got a question for you, Lemon. If you were tracking the moon at night, and then you say you live by the ocean, and you hold up your thumb, or you set up a camera behind an object that will at some point obscure the moon. You can time how long it takes for that moon to be obscured by the object as it moves across the sky.
and it's the precisely same amount of time when you watch the horizon obscure the moon.
So you're timing how long it takes for the moon to be obstructed by the
from once it
horizon?
starts to become occluded by the object to where it completely disappears behind the object. You can do that at any point in the travel of the moon's arc, and it will also do the same thing on the horizon. Which means that it's related to its motion behind something, not some weird rule of perspective. Otherwise, we would expect the moon to start disappearing at some different rate, not the same rate as any other object obstructing the moon.
But it could be perspective because you're looking down a huge flat earth hallway with no walls to the left and the right. So you're dealing with a huge flat earth hallway that can, for all intents and purposes, be treated as a ceiling and a floor, or what basically breaks down into what your vision would see as two rectangles extending infinitely to the left and the right, split at the level of the eyes, a huge rectangle from your eye level up and a very small rectangle extending left to right from your eye level down. These, for all intents and purposes, would be huge blocks of vision that will eventually converge, merge, and vanish due to angular perspective. And that would tend to occur at the dividing line, the level of the eyes, where these two blocks would come together, merge, converge, and become one unresolvable horizon line of vision. So the principles still appear to be there. They just need to be properly applied over the flat plane where two halves of vision converge, merge, and disappear toward the level of the eyes at the very least.
I never thought of it like that. That's a good point.
I mean, I think we have all the principles. We just got to put the puzzle pieces together in a different way. Hashtag we can do this. I know that we're just humble flatties, and you guys with your elitist knowledge and, nice cushy jobs and stuff like that just kind of, look down on the typical flatty. But maybe we could, have some common sense with this and approach flat earthology together.
Why do you think that everybody in the globe Earth has a decent job and everybody in flat Earth has a crap job?
Because of the amount of elitism I see coming from some of the globers. I'm a rocket scientist. I work at NASA. This, that.
How is that elitism?
Yeah, rocket scientist is a rocket scientist. He's an engineer, and he's a fucking good one.
It's only elite.
What's wrong with that? I'm British, so I use self-deprecation. Hence, I call the foolish decision.
Well, the only time the elitism would come in is if, somebody's trying to talk to you with, say a common sense, sensible perspective, and it is denigrated and looked down upon because you're not a doctor or you're not a scientist, or they appeal to expertise.
Anything that you can demonstrate to be commonsensical, I'm not going to call a stupid idea. What I tend to find is the category that some people include the term common sense for isn't, in my opinion, commonsensical, and I'll rebut that.
I mean, when was it?
I was just saying that's how you have a conversation. One person's, common sense is a subjective thing, so we're going to have overlapping areas, and we're going to have areas of disagreement within that context.
That's true.
I mean, I don't think many people here are elitist. I mean, most people here are pretty grounded, down to earth. I mean, rocket science doesn't, he knows certain topics pretty well. Cool. I know some topics pretty well. Cool. You know some topics pretty well. Cool. And there are some things that we're kind of trying to feel out because it's at the limit of all of our understanding.
Well, Mr. Blue Marble Science talked about education as elitism. I think in a certain way it does kind of foster that with some of its strange ideas. I think one hallmark of the elitism that I'm talking about is this desire to have these weird ideas that mark you and set you apart as a different type of person, as a better quality of person.
Things like what?
Things like globalism, nation-destroying globalism that says absurd things like diversity is our strength. That's absurd. Diversity is a source of tension and weakness, unless
It could also be
there's something to give it strength.
It could also be a piece of strength as well. So in the British Army, for instance, there was a lot of diversity, and one of those pieces of diversity were the Gurkhas. The Gurkhas fought with the British Army. They weren't part of the British Empire technically, but they liked us, so they came along. And their diversity was instrumental in our success in World War II in Southeast Asia, because they understood that area better than we did. And we used that strength that they had, and it enhanced us with the power that we could put behind them.
But even that reduces to absurdity unless you're unified under a purpose, namely defending Britain.
Yeah, I mean,
we have
I agree with that.
diversity as our strength, but we don't have that critical pillar that gets rid of the absurdity, uniting to defend a country and, a way of life. So now that perfectly, good axiom that needs to be balanced with unity of purpose becomes absurd.
Well, again, I mean, I'm not even saying that you need a unity of purpose, because I think that's a bit too absolutist for my liking on that. What I would say is you need some common goals between the group to allow you to move forward with some form of consensus, because that's really all you're talking about. And I think, again, I don't think that you coming from a different culture and me coming from a different culture is a big problem with that. We just need to have a common goal. And as long as we can establish that, and for most people who emigrate, the common goal that we all share in society is we want safety, security, we want to bring our family up, we want as maximum amount of freedom as we can, and we want the opportunity to be as successful as we desire.
Well, going back to the globe believes...
Dodge.
Well, I think the globe is an elitist belief. You have it to signify that you're a modern, educated person and that you're not beyond the pale, but you don't have it because it's really backed by evidence that's fully acceptable to a flat earther with, the fake NASA photos.
Why does your evidence need to be acceptable to a flat earther? What is the criteria for being acceptable to a flat earther? For a picture of the fucking Earth, like what's going to be acceptable?
I would need to go up there myself and snap a similar photo without lens curvature just distorting the image all to hell, or CGI black shadow inserts and specular highlights and pace clouds.
So you want to be one of the most elite people in the world, as in less than 0.01% that have gone into space and been able to see the curvature of the Earth. You want to be one of the most elite people, and because you can't do that, then the Earth must be flat.
Well, I don't want to have to become a Mason to become an astronaut, if that's what you're saying. I want affordable space travel, which is prohibited de facto by government involvement in any process. If you actually want cheap, affordable space travel, you need to tell the government to go, fly a kite.
It's
and
not
actually
prohibited.
Have actual private investment that is not heavily government controlled, like you had with SpaceX and anything that NASA points its nose into. So basically, they're trying to keep it elitist and out of the hands of the common people with no affordable space travel at all.
No, the problem, Lemon, with space travel is it's so expensive because it actually costs a shit ton of money to get anything into space. It requires a ton of energy, like an unbelievable amount of energy to get something into orbit even. And the fact that you think that it's going to be cheap ever is ridiculous. Like it's not because the government is limiting space travel. In fact, SpaceX has brought the cost of sending something into space down by like a factor of 10 or something, but it's still like millions of dollars, and the average person is never going to be able to afford that.
And the reason why it's so expensive is probably because of government regulation.
No, it has nothing to do with government regulation. It has to do with the cost of getting something into space because of the amount of energy required.
Well, if the private industry was actually allowed in on the pie, they would innovate a way to get it.
That's what's happening with space.
I mean, come on. There's loads of private space companies now.
Yeah, but they're all heavily government controlled. Just like with what happened with SpaceX. At first, you saw Elon Musk as being the face of this, SpaceX, space innovation, and then before you know it, NASA's poking its nose in, saying, we're basically going to take over anyway.
No,
so
they
saying
didn't.
one thing but doing another thing with their actions in a very inconsistent way that looks just like lying. I'm
NASA
sorry.
didn't take over SpaceX. NASA is giving SpaceX a ton of money because it's a lot cheaper for SpaceX to send something up than it is for NASA because SpaceX figured out a better way.
Oh, so you're saying that NASA took over SpaceX the same way as the Jet Propulsion Laboratory took over the cleaning company that is contracted to clean their building? I see. Makes sense, Lemon.
So common sense helps bring consistency to it because with the academic elitism, it's like you get really comfortable with a certain degree of mysticism. You believe in relativity because this gray-haired crackpot Einstein is so smart, as opposed to saying, does this really make sense? Does the emperor really have clothes or not? So, some of this stuff is absurd garbage. And you can just cut through the elitism and the mysticism right there.
That's not mysticism. There's no mysticism there.
Mysticism is when you're forced to say it's a curved ball despite the fact that it looks flat.
No,
because
that's
of
not
NASA's
mysticism.
lying pictures. That's one level of reality here that does not concord with another level of reality over here. That's mystical.
So what's mystical about NASA? What is the spiritual or religious belief that is being vague or ill-defined?
Well done, Druss. You are a barrel of conversation there. Kept him alight with an interesting point. Not obviously realised you're about to take him on a merry dance on a road to nowhere.
But that's what Lemon does to us.
What?
I can't hear Chemo because I've got him turned right down because he's just being.
So he's got. Did he just say he's over talking?
Chemo's just basically projecting and saying you were going to take us on a memory suit, which of course is what Lemon does all the time.
He knows the rules here, Farmer.
Indecipherable word salad.
Let's give him an opportunity. Does he still have me turned down? Very wise.
Everything I don't like is mysticism.
I call for a reset.
Mysticism, religion, all of that. It's a lot of shit.
I just think he means like it's a bit of an illusion where people are hypnotized. Like you see a flat horizon and you get the impression that it's curving some way, somehow, somewhere along the line. No?
Well, we sort of see that when we take photos of it from space, Chemo.
Yeah, but those photos are in a place that science can't prove. So we have to dismiss those photos as fake.
So we take photos from a place that you think science can't prove, and yet we send satellites and rockets and astronauts up there all the time, and we take photos from space.
But that's the thing, you don't actually do that. That's part of the hoax. That's what we're looking for, the evidence.
No, see, you're taking conspiracy way too far, dear boy.
No, well, this is the point. We've been lied to, so there's a big hoax going on that they've spent millions.
Yes, Chemo, you have been lied to about so many things, but the shape of the Earth isn't one of them.
The shape of the Earth is the biggest lie known to man, bigger than everything, because it's been done for so long.
No.
The fact that they've done it for so long, because you guys say thousands of years, I would have said 500 or so years. But either way...
No, the ancient Greeks knew it wasn't flat, dear boy. So
that's
did
like
the Egyptians eventually when they
started
sailing out.
Thousands of years, yeah?
Mm.
So for all that time, this has been the biggest hoax for this length of time.
No. See, you're just lying again. I know you can't help it, and I know it comes more naturally to you than breathing, but...
Well, how is it then that the Greeks were able to prove a ball, but today we cannot?
No, we can. We can prove it. It's just that you close your eyes, stick your fingers in your...
What did they do different to what we're doing today?
They used their brains for a start.
Yeah, but what did they do exactly? Did they go higher than what we've been?
Look, why are we going all over this for the umpteenth fucking time? You know what the evidence is. You see it yourself. Pretend it's not real.
Yeah, but we have to
what
question
you. You are a bunch of supposed adults. I suppose physically you are adults, but going by your physical age, you're playing let's pretend. Let's pretend the Earth is flat. Let's pretend that we're special and woke and that everybody else isn't. That's what you're doing. You're playing.
No. We're informing the next generation, the younger generation.
No, you're not informing the next generation of anything except don't listen to us because we're fucking retards.
No, what we expect from the next generation is for them to ask the same questions that we're asking you. We want these questions to continue. So obviously, if we're not here anymore, let's suppose we were all to die.
And becoming astronauts and going into space and leading full productive lives.
But I'm saying if all of us were to die now, let's say all flat earthers were on one plane or one bus or something, every single one of them today, in this moment, and that bus or plane blew up. Now, we would expect our message from the next generation to be repeated to you guys. That's what we would expect.
No. You see, if that happened and you all suddenly disappeared, life would go on,
and we'd all be singing "Glory, glory, hallelujah."
I'd certainly probably have a wry smile and go, "Well played, karma. Well played, fate." Yeah.
What if every flat earther died in one moment?
Oh. Well, I mean, that could solve many problems, but
that would just keep your belief alive, the religion alive.
I'll accept you, Chemo, though, because we need you to be here to entertain us.
Well, I'd be the pilot, so I'd definitely be on the plane.
It would be a real shame if you were included in that airplane.
No, I'd be on there. I'd be in the front with the pilot, making sure that we find Kurt and asking him, "Why aren't you dipping down over that horizon there? What's going on?" Before we crash.
We need to build some Ark spaceships, and you all need to go on the B.
Yeah, you need to do a lot of things. There are a lot of things that we are all waiting for you guys to do, but because we're not on the board,
you lot don't actually fucking do anything ever. You are the completely useless part of society.
Farmer's very quick point is: can we keep a couple of telephone sanitizers on ship A?
Oh, just a couple. Good point. Yeah,
thanks.
So, like I said, when you think that you're speaking to the flat earther, it's more for the people out there who are listening, who are on the fence, who think that you guys have the answer. So we have to expose that. Who else is going to expose?
You see, the problem is, I don't think there are any people on the fence. There's 99%
came here
that are saying irrational, and then
Percent joined.
Who are playing let's pretend.
Percent joined here on the fence. I've got a video of him when he was on the fence, and it's called On the Fence Percent. And now look at him, right? He's completely off the fence, completely on the flat Earth side, destroying the globe, and that's what we expect.
Oh, he's a fucking retard then.
Yeah, he's the most phony flat earther that we have. I mean, except for maybe Face. He and Face are always kind of neck and neck.
I think you find the best flat earthers, the fake flat earthers. That's just like a way of trying to put them down.
Well, you're all
some are fake, Chemo.
Percentage is the man. You guys are tripping.
No, he's just
absolutely goes to town on these guys.
He's just a phony, a big fat phony.
I don't think you've shown me any empirical, definitive evidence to demonstrate that your claim about percentage is true.
Yeah, so like I said, when it comes to the globe, you literally have an idea, which is interesting. I mean, it's a good idea, spinning, flying, and all that stuff, but we just have to verify. It hasn't been verified. So that's where we are, Farmer's Boy. The Greeks knew, but we don't.
No, we do. You're just pretending you don't.
All right, how do you know because of the Greeks?
No.
So how do you know you're on a ball?
I can go out and do and work that out all by myself just by watching the sun.
Yeah, and you know the answer for that. The horizon's not physical.
Yes, it is.
The horizon's not physical. It's not a physical place.
It's a physical place because somebody can go and stand there and wave at me.
Yeah, but if they're obstructed from the bottom up on one day, the next day they're not obstructed at the same distance, same height.
Yeah, but it's still a physical place. It's just affected by the varying refraction of the atmosphere. But it's still a physical place because somebody can fucking go and stand there.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but it's like having the physical obstruction in front of you, the Earth hump, or that obstruction between you and the observer. There's Earth curve, physical obstruction, and then that physical obstruction moves behind that person like a wave.
No. No, that's not how it works either.
So how do you explain then that the physical hump behind the person?
No, if he's standing on the horizon, there's no hump as you keep. I don't know why you keep calling it hump because there's no hump.
I'm saying if his legs are obstructed.
My hump. My.
I knew somebody was going to start doing that.
My lovely lady lumps.
Yeah, the horizon is a physical place formed by us looking at a tangent to a curved surface.
Right, so to that point where the obstruction...
Oh, thank you. So you agree it's a curved surface. Thank you very much.
No, I'm saying if it is, it's on if, isn't it?
There's
It's
no
if this,
we
then
know
that.
it is. It's been measured. It's been photographed, filmed from down here, up in the air, up in space.
Yeah,
but
like I say, if what you're saying is true, and that obstruction is a real one, then why isn't it obstructing him tomorrow or the next day?
Because we have an atmosphere, and the atmosphere changes.
The physical obstruction. You're not listening. His legs, we can't see them because of something physical. Now that physical
No, if he's standing still and and bless him, he stays there for 24 hours.
Yeah.
The only change that you might see is because the change in the conditions of the air, and that's called refraction.
Right. Try to listen to the argument. We today see obstruction, physical. We can't see the bottom of his legs because you're saying there is physical water, physical obstruction.
Okay, so he's now crossed over that horizon line and he's moved further away.
Yeah, he's behind it, so you can't see his waist down.
Okay, yeah.
Physical obstruction, you would say. He's going to stand there, so let's say he's 3 miles away. He's going to stand there.
No, if he's 3 miles away, he won't disappear behind the curve, will he?
What, from a 6 foot? Okay, let's say he's 4 miles away then.
Okay, we won't be able to see a bit of him. We might be able to see from his knees up. I don't know.
Let's
probably,
say
no, probably
5
not.
miles, 6 miles, whatever you need for him to be waist high up. Yeah.
He's now no longer at that tangent point. He has now passed further along the curve, which is why to us he appears to be dropping down.
No. We want him to be
the ex-parrot.
What we want, first of all,
Shuffled off this mortal call and joined the choir invisible.
First step, farmer's boy, is he's going to be obstructed, whatever distance you want to say. That the observer is 6 foot. The guy could be any height, but his waist,
whatever,
from waist down, will be obstructed with physical obstruction.
Yes.
So now we're going to you have to explain now why that physical obstruction is now behind him. He didn't move, but that obstruction is miles behind him now.
No, it's in front of him. He's moved away from me, so it's in front of him. How can it be fucking behind him?
Welcome to Flat Earth. That's what I'm talking about.
No, you've got it completely arse about face. On Flat Earth, there would be no horizon.
Toilet's on the left.
Hey, brother.
Try to keep the seat up.
The obstruction would be behind him.
Kimo,
if he's moved further away from me,
welcome, farm boy. Welcome,
farmers, because that's what we've been telling you this whole tally.
Well, you're fucking wrong, you morons.
Kimo,
right,
does
listen
a straw
again.
in water not have a physical location just because it's in the water?
What is he on about?
Hold on, let's
How
go
can
through this again.
He's
freaking out. He's freaking out. I said this is supposed to be smooth transition to Flat Earth. A smooth transition, farmers. Calm down.
Farmers boy, please do try to calm down.
He's freaking out.
You have a cognitive dissonance, Kimo. You've sent him into cognitus.
Yeah.
Well, he's talking so much utter shit.
Because he got it just then, and he realised.
No,
goodness me.
No, you fucking moron.
Oh my
God. My horizon line hasn't changed in relation to me.
Kimo, why are you making people gamma spiral in here? Why are you making him gamma spiral?
Don't call him names. No need to be abusive. Because, like I said, I never abuse them, do I? We just get through it.
Absolutely moronic, gormless cunt you are.
We get through it. We get through it calmly, Brummy, without the neck. Because, like again, for me, it's therapy. And right now, Farmers has realised something. The penny dropped.
I realised a long time ago. You're a fucking retard.
It's true. I mean, he's in denial. I mean, denial's the first human response, Kimo. I mean, you've got like 4 different stages. First is denial, then there's anger. He's actually
experienced a bit of anger right now. Further away from me, and my horizon point hasn't changed because I haven't moved. My horizon's still 3 miles away. If he's
this is him now, just trying to
from me,
lie to himself.
Line will be in front of him and obscurity, not behind him.
Yeah. What's this is the third step, and it's denial.
Sorry, why
is I
think he's at the anger stage
talking
now.
over me. Why can I fucking
it's like a transitional.
Let him speak. Let him speak. Let him speak. Let Farmers speak.
Well, find it amazing that people are allowed to do that, and yet, some people say 2 words and they get instantly muted.
I know.
And yet
No, it's right. Let Farmer speak. That's right. Let Farmer speak.
Going on, so I would recommend that.
Well, let him speak then,
Because you said 2 words on top of a million, that's all, Dross. You whinge a lot, Dross, and we've heard what you've got to say, Dross.
I'm hearing your gamma spiral, Brommy. That sounds good. So
it's gamma spiraling.
Yeah, I can hear gamma spiraling. You're
right.
really triggered.
He's going to lose his train of thought here.
Yeah,
Let him
when you come
speak.
so angry.
At least I'm going to admit I'm triggered, and like this in denial globe here that Coach Kimo brought to his realization, where his whole globe collapsed.
No,
And
it
now
hasn't.
He's frustrated.
Can you stop fucking talking for me?
I know. Let him
You
speak.
fucking cunt. Now then, it's very simple. You're standing on a sphere, a very large one. You're looking at a tangent to the surface of that sphere. That's what forms your horizon. If somebody moves further away from you, they're going to drop down behind that horizon. It's not going to be behind them. If it's behind them, that means they've moved closer to me. How fucking backward can you guys get?
That's not what we're saying,
don't
right?
fucking laugh. Tell me how the hell you think the horizon will be behind him if he's moving further away from me.
Right, so try to listen and stop shouting. You're making me laugh. Stop shouting. Just calm down. Right. So I said to you, you got your observer 6 foot. You look out at the horizon. You got your other guy behind the horizon, waist up, obstructed by the physical horizon, physical Earth,
Yes.
is what you would say. Yeah.
Yes.
So he's not going to move anyway. He's going to stay in that same location over 24 hours. Then you've got to explain how this physical obstruction is now behind that guy. That's what
it's not.
No, he didn't move. The obstruction.
Oh, no, he didn't move, and neither did the horizon. How could it be behind him?
That's that. Welcome to flat Earth. That's the point.
No, what you? That's not an answer.
That's what the black swan is.
What you're talking about?
That's the point. Is how can it be behind? That's the very point of the black swan. How can it be behind the person? How can it be behind?
Exactly.
Oh, have we suddenly switched to the black swan?
No, but that's what it is. This is what I'm just saying. You've got the obstruction. You're saying it's physical, and then the next day it's behind the person.
Well, if you'd said we were talking about the black swan, well, that's simple. That's extreme refraction.
No. In any situation, you got the horizon in front, obstruction, anything. It doesn't matter what it is.
And you know that from the very carefully cherry-picked image that you guys use for the black swan, because you look at all the photos and the film he took on any other day, you don't see that.
All right, I mean, again, that was... Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks, Kimo. I just want to say that when I used to argue against flat Earthers, I used to I never even looked at the black swan argument.
That's not an argument. That's the joke of it.
Well, look, I mean, I automatically assumed that because it was a flat Earthers evidence that it was misinterpreted or incorrect automatically from the get go. But I feel like I sense that from you, so I'm just curious. What is actually the argument of the black swan? I just want to hear you explain it, or the non-argument you put it.
Well, it is a non-argument. The whole premise of a black swan argument is that also what?
No. What's the actual argument within this black swan? Not what's a black swan.
Well, they're saying it's unexpected. We're saying, well, no, it's not, because all you're seeing is the products of extreme refraction.
No, that's not the argument whatsoever. You don't even understand the black swan. Nothing to do with what the black swan is trying to. Do you want me to? Can someone talk him through the black swan and show him like the argument and what?
No, that's one of the arguments for the black swan.
I can.
Is the fact that we're seeing too far.
It's nothing to do with that.
I can. Let me lay out the black swan argument. Let me lay out the black swan argument for you. Okay. We see too far. That's it.
Okay, so people don't understand it in here, and yet they're trying to argue against it.
But you can pretend that that's the case from me, but it's
Jeremy, he's now going to.
I'm not pretending it's the case.
He's now going to extend the argument. It shows that the Earth must be bigger than it is, or something like that.
You don't understand it.
I think he's got a few people to turn down. I'm not sure.
The argument is that we see too far. That's it. You can look. The modus tollens might have impressed and fooled you, but it doesn't impress and fool me.
I don't even know what the argument is.
The essence of the argument is that this observation is anomalous because we can see something further than we should be able to see it. We see too far. Trying to make people parrot your modus tollens doesn't help you in any way. It doesn't
change to do with modus tollens.
Change reality if someone can't.
It doesn't change reality if someone can't meet Quantum Eraser's silly set of rules that he's laid down for his word game. Won't change it at all.
Okay, Gemma Oakley. Okay, Gemma Oakley. Because you're going to talk louder over everybody, and then when somebody responds, then we get a few words in, jump down the neck, and then tell us again what the straw man version of the Black Swan is, which is not the actual argument, which I'm trying to get people to actually cite. But Farms Boy really failed miserably there, and yet you've just straw man version. Oh, we see too far.
That's what the argument is. Tell me what the argument is then, Brummy, if it's not we see too far. Just in layman's terms, without the modus tollens, what is the essence of this argument?
Why is the horizon 3 times further than it should be, given the dimensions that we've been given by the radius there?
We see too far. How about that?
We see. But why are we seeing the horizon?
It's not about seeing too far. It's about why is the physical obstruction now behind another physical obstruction. It's nothing to do about seeing too far. Because again,
it's exactly about that.
And it's not just seeing too far. It's looking at the radius that's been given to us by NASA. And using
saying it should be this distance, it's not, therefore we see too far.
The radius wasn't given to us by NASA. It was known well before NASA even existed.
Oh, how did NASA find? I mean, how did before NASA find out? Then please enlighten me. The story that you've been told before. Let's hear your indoctrination. Let me hear it. Go on.
I'm sorry, I'm not indoctrinated. I have an education.
Sure.
Yes.
So, education, indoctrination.
What's that? Well, masturbation. So what?
I know what you're talking about.
Oh no, other words that end with shun. Big fucking deal.
Showing you the different way of looking at the same thing, isn't it? Indoctrination and education are very similar.
No, they're not.
They just fucking rhyme. That's the only thing they have in common, Brummy.
Listen, what it has in common is that
just because words rhyme doesn't mean they mean the same thing.
You can indoctrinate somebody with education. You're a prime example of that.
Yeah, right. Okay.
You are
You're
a
prime example of somebody who's been hit in the head too many times.
I've been unplugged from the fucking Matrix. I'm unplugged. You're still plugged into the machine.
Do you know what indoctrinate actually means?
Yeah.
Go on, then.
Well, basically, go to a school where full of people where you have to find. I'm just giving you my definition. What's wrong?
You're wrong. You're wrong. That is not the definition of the word indoctrinate.
Take your kids to school when they don't want to go, when they're crying and screaming because they hate the fucking.
Brummy, no. Brummy, no, you're wrong.
No, see, this is what
you're fucking wrong.
Every time you think for yourself in school, they tell you wrong. That's what indoctrination is, right?
No, Brummy. Indoctrination means to teach somebody to accept something without thinking about it critically. So when.
That's not indoctrination.
Yes, it is. That's the literally definition of indoctrination.
All dictionaries are Brummy 21.
If that is the definition, they don't teach critical thinking in schools. So
that's true.
Yeah, that's why all these flat tires are.
Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy.
They didn't learn to think critically.
You're welcome, Brummy.
That's what I should have said, Jeremy. Damn. They don't teach.
Yeah, they didn't teach Brummy critical thinking, so he thinks the Earth is flat.
No, they clearly didn't.
I don't think the Earth's flat, man. I don't give a fuck.
I think he spent his all his time at the back of the class licking the windows.
I don't know what fucking shape it is, but you claim to know. So I'd love to know how you know that it's round when I never seen no roundness. So please enlighten me with indoctrination.
You see it every day. The horizon doesn't exist on a flat surface.
No, it doesn't.
Where the fuck do I see curvature? Excuse me. Every day.
Time you watch
exactly. The horizon wouldn't exist on a flat surface.
I see the Earth physical curving. Is that makes a lot of sense, mate?
You're seeing it. You're seeing it because the Earth is A, curved, a sphere, and B, rotating.
Apparently, so you say.
No, the sun's not moving, is it? The sun isn't moving. It's us that's moving.
I don't know. It could be the.
Well, it's not changing. It's not changing in angular size during the day, which means it's not moving. Because if it was moving, it would change in size, but it's not. See, this is critical thinking, something you're obviously incapable of doing.
The process of teaching a person or a group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. Wow.
The important part there is uncritically. So.
Yeah. So do you think
because you are incapable of critical thought?
Let me stop you here, because do you think that you could be wrong then?
Of course we could be wrong. Of course
we've looked at it.
So you could be wrong.
We've analysed it.
You can see that you could be wrong.
Rami, we've thought about it critically and determined that the set of evidence is adequate to hold this belief.
So you don't think what evidence? What's your evidence? Let's hear it.
You've heard all the fucking evidence, Rami. I know you.
Yeah, don't start all that.
I've heard a lot of
Pretend
bullshit.
you've never, ever seen any evidence at all.
I've heard a lot of bullshit, and I've seen some mathematical equations, but I've seen no curvature.
You don't need any of that. Just go and watch your sun.
Well, the sunset proves the Earth's curving. That doesn't seem to sit well with me logically.
Well, I'm sorry, you're a fucking moron then.
All right then. Well, you enjoy your curvature when you watch the sunset. That's
Just been through that, farmers.
Not only am I enjoying the curvature, I'm also enjoying the rotation of the Earth at 15 degrees per hour.
Right?
Thank you, Bob.
Sunset, not sunrise or fall. Sunset, and
sunrise as well, because it's just and strangely enough, it happens if you turn around and watch it, and it comes up on the other side.
Therefore, that's brilliant. You definitely taught you well in school. That you were really good.
The fact that you can gain, if you gain elevation quickly, you can see it set again.
Yeah.
Oh,
tell me how that fucking works on a flat Earth, Rummy.
I don't care if the Earth's flat or not. You're not heard me the first time I said it.
Well, then don't you think that it infers some sort of shape to the Earth? In fact, you can go up and you can see further, and now I can see the sun again.
Apparently, you know what's going. Well, you don't know what's going on inside of a black hole. Apparently, you know what's going on inside the centre of the sun. Apparently, you can just.
Nobody claims to know what's going on inside of a black hole.
Of course you do.
Nobody claims to know that.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
It was being created inside the sun when it goes supernova.
Come on.
Dumbasses.
Nobody said the sun went supernova.
That's the guy who thinks the Earth is.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, mate.
Nobody said nobody. Nobody in their right mind would say that the sun already went supernova.
What?
And it's never going to.
That's literally what I just said, isn't it?
Who said
You said that people think that the sun went supernova.
No, you didn't listen. Clean your ears out. Get a cotton bud. You used cotton buds before.
Or you misspoke, Rummy.
No, the guy just didn't hear what I was saying. He just took what I said and ran with words. I didn't know, is it? Just because a bunch of people are telling me I'm wrong doesn't mean I'm wrong.
Yeah, but you are wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not even telling you you're wrong. I'm
The
just
Earth
saying
isn't
maybe you
flat.
missed.
Maybe you misheard.
Repeat yourself, Brownie. Stop at that's right.
Maybe you
Why
misheard.
don't you repeat? Yeah, repeat yourself. Say what you meant. Use your words, Brummy.
Well, basically, you don't think you could be wrong, or you do?
About supernova, black holes, Big Bang. Yeah.
So you could be wrong about the shape, but yeah, is that what you said about it?
No, we've got.
There's no way you could.
And we've got, and the chances of it being wrong, I think there is more chance of me being able to step out of my window and fly.
You should try test that hypothesis. Test that hypothesis.
You've just got to miss.
Not on the ground floor. Look, at the end of the day, you said the sun sets. There's your evidence. I mean, I think that's piss poor.
No, that was more than that, wasn't it, Brummy? I added to it, didn't I?
I don't know. I won't listen to you, Josh, because you just, you
Yeah, well, there you go. That's part of your problem. That's why you don't learn.
You're like a fuzzy noise in the
Never
background.
listen to people.
You see, I mean, the problem is that the flat Earth can't explain sunsets and sunrises as we observe them. Their explanations just don't comport with what we see.
Of course, we can
They
explain
don't
them.
talk mentality, but they don't clean their ears out, and they keep saying flat, 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 when nobody's even talking about flat. We're just saying, show me the curve that you're saying is there, but I don't see.
But we have, and you go, la, 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 I'm not looking.
You told me to look at sunset.
Go and watch your sunset.
Yeah, great explanation. I'm so fucking sure.
Brummy, it's not just the sunset. It's the curved path through the sky that the sun takes. It's also the fact that it fucking doesn't get smaller when it sets.
Correct.
It doesn't.
It appears to curve in the sky.
No, it doesn't.
It appears to curve in the sky. Doesn't mean it is.
Just an illusion, guys. The only way you would know it's not an illusion by actually going out there and investigating, which you haven't done.
That's already been done. People have viewed it through a solar field today.
No, they lied to you, farmer's boy. That's what we're saying.
It doesn't. It's been done. It doesn't change in size. The sun isn't moving.
It does change in size. It does.
No,
We look through it at solar filter. You look at it at solar filter, it does change size.
Not in any given day.
Yeah, it does. Every day it changes.
No.
Yes, it does. Angular size changes every day.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Well,
It
I've
does.
got evidence, farmer's boy.
I can show you a video. I can demonstrate that right now. A guy using an equatorial mount and a solar lens,
Don't
and
even
it shows
need
the
them.
degree.
Don't even need that. I have evidence.
Retards.
I have evidence here, farmers boy. My body of evidence. Whenever that question is
You
thrown
haven't got
out.
any fucking evidence at all, you lying little cunt.
Yeah, as soon as that question is thrown out there.
I don't need evidence.
You
You never bring anything except bullshit and waffle.
No.
Farmers
You
boy,
said the sun doesn't get smaller. That's not true. That's false information. When we have the evidence.
Let's see it then.
Okay. So let's have a look at this. Here we go.
And if you're going to show me a video where it gets slightly squished up at the bottom as
Oh,
it
no,
goes through all
not
that
that
extra
one,
atmosphere, that ain't good enough.
Not that one.
I want to see the sun shrinking in overall size.
Yeah, they will get smaller and smaller. That's right.
This is going
to be some video that somebody's fucked with, isn't it?
No.
And
You
it's not
said
gonna
your
show a
claim
proper
was the
sunset.
sun
It's gonna
doesn't get
smushy
smaller and
horrible
smaller.
because
Yeah.
They're fucking about with the filters.
Right, there you go.
He's just going to show you those pictures where the exposure on the camera is changing,
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
changing how much blooming there is on the sensor.
No. You said the sun doesn't get smaller and smaller. That's not true. The sun does get smaller and smaller, and
No,
there's
it
the
doesn't.
evidence to show. It's part of the body of evidence.
What, this video?
So there's no solar filter
That's
used in
not a
it.
solar filter.
Yeah,
Doesn't
what
matter.
Brummy had, what
Doesn't
Brummy
matter.
had just
The
said
sun
was that
gets
use a solar
smaller and
filter,
smaller.
You see it change size.
Doesn't matter.
Right, that
The
wasn't the
sun
claim.
No.
doesn't matter. You
I
said the
said
sun
solar
doesn't get
filter.
smaller and smaller. It gets smaller until it disappears. Didn't say over the
Sure, that
horizon
wasn't the
like you
claim that
said.
was made.
See, he can't help himself. He's just a lying little cunt.
But I'm
You're
saying
lying
it
right now.
didn't
Brummy will
disappear.
admit
Hold on,
it said
Kosho.
with a solar filter.
Hold on. So, Farmer's Boy, that didn't disappear over the horizon, bottom first, like you tell us. That's the
It's
point.
not filmed through a solar filter. You're seeing nothing but fucking glare.
Didn't disappear bottom
You lying
first, though,
little
right?
twat. You lying little twat.
It's
So
not
we get
arguing,
smaller
Kimo.
just like we asked for.
This isn't what we're arguing. Just remind everybody. Maybe you didn't hear, but Brummy said with a solar filter.
Doesn't matter. If
I
it's
said that,
filtered
yeah,
or
it
not.
changes. I found a video, I found it. It says the Earth does not change size in this video, but it actually does. Because he measures it and he shows you the differences. It's like it says negligible, he says. It's such a small amount, it's negligible. So he's put in the Earth that it doesn't change size when it actually does. It's just sad.
Don't you mean the sun?
The sun does change size, even in the video that this one says
Yeah,
that it does
of course
not.
it changes size. It's an object going further away from you. It just
It's
disappears
not.
into the atmosphere.
Oh.
It
Oh,
just
no,
sets,
fucking
disappears in the
It's not
atmosphere
moving,
before you
we
can see it.
are.
If you could see it forever, it would
Oh.
get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller,
Fucking
just like everything else.
Farmers
And
Boy,
with
where's your evidence,
Without a
farmers?
solar
that-
filter, it still appears to get smaller.
Yeah,
on
Brummy
certain
presented her
days.
evidence for us, man. The sun is not changing size.
That's
the title.
That's my evidence. It shows you. Yeah, the sun does change size. That video proves it.
What part of the video is he showing the sun changing size?
Shows the what part of the video? I have to go through it now. It shows the. It does the.
I can't believe it.
No, like about when he does the calculations and
Are
he
you
shows.
really using Wolfie 6020 to debunk the globe Earth?
Yeah.
I don't think this is the one, Brummy.
Really?
Brummy, this is not
Yes,
the
I
one.
use y'all all the time.
Brummy,
use
try to give us a good partner video because I'm watching him to do the calculations and stuff, but I just
No,
see the sun
that
staying the same
Wolfie's a
size.
fraud.
Oh, he's changed the video. That's a different. He's changed it. When I watched it, he showed that it did change it by a certain degree. I'm giving his mouth.
All right, well, then we use this as our evidence.
Oh,
then.
he's changed the video. That's fucking dodgy as fuck. That is.
I told you he's dodgy, Wolfie. Don't be using it.
What you mean, like Blackstory did when he took 13 frames out and then put the
Just
original?
rely on the one I've provided. It gets smaller and smaller. It's all there for you to see.
That doesn't matter though, Kimo, because nobody claims
Oh my God.
for a filter. It's not going to appear to change size.
Well, like
That
I said,
is dodgy. That.
well,
No,
you know,
there's the sun at the end, and it's not changing in size.
It does change in size when he does his calculations. They're not even on this video.
Why would he have
that's
titled
a
his video like
Glober, Brummy. That's Wolfie.
the sun does not change
Yeah,
size?
no, yeah, and he's changed the video. That's proven itself. The fact that he changed it. He used to have used to show his working out in the way it worked, had the angular size.
You can't change a video on
Somebody removes the
YouTube.
video.
There's no function to change a video.
Re-upload it, can't you?
Yes, you can do that.
Yes.
That's changing the video, isn't it?
And what this video that you've shown us
No,
also
that's
proves.
re-uploading a new video that is different.
It's the same video but changed.
No, Brummy. No.
When I
This
watched that
video
video,
If it had the same address,
Wolfie
it would
is
be
a
different
Glober,
video.
Brummy, not on our side at all.
no, it's a Globe. No, I use Glover evidence to prove that they're wrong all the time.
Yeah, but was the old video titled the same thing?
It does change in angular size. So the actual
proof the size of the sun does not change.
Just ignore that question.
The title alone is a lie because we all know that it does change angular size. Very small amount.
It shows that it doesn't.
A very small amount, and this video that used to have the maths on there proved it.
It only changes in angular size over the.
There you go. So it changes
elliptic.
Angular size.
Orbit is elliptical.
Right, I agree with that. The angular size it changes.
That's over the course of a year, not a day.
In a day it changes, man.
No, it
I'm telling you, 100% fact.
Doesn't.
It does.
Doesn't.
And this video used the same little tool, mate, same equipment the guy used. And I watched the video, and he showed the difference. He put it on his computer, and he said,
as C4's pointed out, go and watch Red's Rhetoric's video where he films it through the whole course of a day, and it doesn't change in size.
No. He's got to use a drone and a solar filter, not from the ground because of the magnification.
No, it doesn't matter.
Of course it matters.
It doesn't change in size. The sun isn't
Wait,
moving.
now
We
elevation
are
doesn't
moving.
matter? Hey, you got to get out of that magnification zone. You got to gain elevation.
Exactly.
Yeah, it seems to matter when you want it to matter.
Oh, fuck off, Rakia.
If it's not science,
Yeah, tell me to F off. You F off.
No,
you
you fuck
deceptive twat.
Oh, coming from a born
Yeah,
liar.
that's right. I'm going to give
Well,
it back to
look-
you just like you give it to me.
Farmer's boy, if it's
You would think
Gain
that the
some
angular-
elevation, get
you
yourself a
would think-
drone, and under certain conditions, and watch that sun appear to get smaller and smaller and just blink out into the atmosphere.
No, it doesn't. The sun,
of course it does, Farmer's boy.
It's something that everybody in here.
But here's the thing.
Look, everybody in here. There's probably the average age of people in here between 30 and 40. If you think the number of people in here, there are hundreds of years of observation, and not one person has ever seen with their own eyes the sun get smaller and blink out into a dot into sunset. Not one.
It just doesn't happen.
Hey, Sean, you might's a bit low. Up it. I was wondering who that was.
Excuse me.
I've
but
seen the sun
it was me,
look
not
like a
Sean.
keyhole.
Rakia, who's talking aggressively over me. Hello.
Hey, Sean. Yeah.
First time I've heard you. Sorry.
Yeah, and
It's not.
and you know what? Yeah, I've watched the sunset my whole life. I've lived for nearly half a century. I've never once seen the sun be a keyhole.
From the ground, Jake. From the
So you're
ground.
saying I manipulated my video?
I'm saying that the exposure on the camera can do weird things with how the sensor will
No,
bloom
it's
the image.
atmosphere
But with
doing
the
it, not the exposure.
Then how come I've never seen it with my own eyes?
What does that matter if you've seen anything?
Nobody in here. There's probably, like I said, there's probably half a
you're
millennia
denying
of observations in this channel right now of people watching sunsets their entire lives. Not one person has seen what you're describing with their eyes. Not one.
And others have. There's tons of videos. Are you denying the keyhole effect exists?
Said it happens in videos because it's an effect of the lens. It's not.
You can see it with your eyes, Kosho. It was there.
It doesn't happen in tons of videos. It happens in videos from one person.
Oh my
David
God.
White.
Are y'all really
Yeah, of
denying this?
Of course, it's him, isn't it?
Y'all are reality deniers. Reality.
No, we're not. You are. This isn't part of our reality.
You just
We don't
said it
see-
happens in
we
one
don't see-
person's video.
we don't see-
David Weiss.
Yes, I did say that, but that should make us suspicious, Rakia, because
Yes, it should.
as has just been pointed out, this is not part of our everyday experience. We do see a sun setting and not gradually disappearing
No
into
one's
a
disagreeing
dot.
with that.
And-
know
and-
No
what?
one's denying that.
and we don't see it gradually disappearing into a dot. So if
No
one
one's
person,
denying that.
let me
Jim.
finish. So if one person fucking
Who's
hell,
making that
Barry,
noise?
if one person and only one person is able to produce videos of it apparently disappearing into a dot, that makes me suspicious of the only one person.
That's
And
you.
it should
That's
make
fine.
you-
You can have that.
It should make you suspicious of them
Jesus,
too.
Are you ever done?
It should make you suspicious of them too, Rakia. Why doesn't
I've
it?
seen it myself.
You're a liar.
A video. Oh my God.
Oh my God! Nobody ever sees that. It's called a sunset, not a sun fade. You are lying if you say you saw that happen.
Yep.
Yeah,
Jim, I'd
you're
like to ask,
amazing. And I'm lying about the keyhole effect too, right, Jim?
I don't know what.
I didn't
what you're
video that
talking
either.
about. I don't know what you're talking about with the keyhole effect. Don't know what that is.
The one that Jake or whoever said because he hasn't seen it, it doesn't exist. which is moronic.
That doesn't help me understand
Just
what
like
it is
what you're
talking about.
doing. Because you've never seen the sun at elevation.
Yeah,
fade
I've
out
seen
into
I've
the
seen
horizon.
I've seen
As
your
I'm
video.
interrupted,
Never
as I'm
seen that.
interrupted. I don't know
Nobody's
why I
ever
gotta
seen
yell. I'm not sure why I
Nobody's
gotta
ever
yell.
seen that.
I've
It's
been
a
interrupted
lie.
by 2 people as my statement was coming out. Maybe you should gain elevation, get into a drier climate, and watch the sunset 100 times, and you're going to see it a couple times fade out into the horizon. No one is denying that most of the time we see a sunset get obstructed by the atmosphere, the horizon, bottom up and set. No one is denying that. Now carry on with your interruptions.
It's not been obstructed and setting due to the atmosphere.
Sure it is.
No, it's doing that because the planet you're on is rotating away from it.
Are you denying that atmospheric conditions can obstruct objects in the sky bottom up?
No, not at all. But you're denying that another part of it is Earth curve.
You know why you tell me to gain elevation to do my observations? Because things are less distorted, right?
Yes, well done. Like, why don't you film over land and water?
That's why you see further. That's why you can see things differently.
No.
I suggest
No,
you
can
take your
see
own
further because you've
example
got higher.
and gain some altitude. And
That's why
watch
you
the
see
sunset
further,
a
because you can
couple
see
times.
your horizon further got higher.
There you go. Keep
It's
denying.
simple
It's
geometry.
a spinning globe.
Rocky, I
That's
posted
why.
a picture. Explain how that could happen.
Oh, well, one picture. Explain how this can happen.
I was about to find
Yeah,
a picture
I
exactly.
was on a plane.
Yeah, this is a picture of the sunset taken from elevation, Rakia.
Yep.
Yeah, and sometimes because of the atmospheric conditions of that
Look
day,
all that turbidity there.
the sunset that way.
Look at the turbidity
That's
there.
all I'm
Where you
about.
can see the light, but you couldn't. But it wasn't
Are
light.
y'all denying atmosphere again?
He's as bad as Travis, he really is.
Look at the turbidity there, suspended matter.
Lighting the sky.
Never going to see the sun with
So
that
we've got
condition.
to follow your observation, and believe our senses and believe your senses, except when we can't believe our senses or your senses.
What I don't get is that we have science to back up what we're observing.
No, don't. You are the science deniers.
You're
It's not
looking
us,
at the
it's you
sun
lot.
and saying, and this has been the problem for 500 years, you look at the sun or ship and you say, well, that must be curvature, without actually any experiments. See? And if you were to experiment, you would find, well, it's not a physical phenomenon.
Wouldn't you measure a curve?
Well, if the Earth is curving, we would have measured it everywhere. It would have been measured everywhere, and it hasn't been.
Am I on mute or? Have you unmuted me yet?
Sorry?
Hello? Am I unmuted yet?
Was you muted?
Yeah, Jem Panda muted me, man.
Oh,
Because I was like interrupted
I
when
think
I was.
Chemo's actually talking, and you've just come in straight over the top of him.
Yeah.
Would you like to let me?
Yeah, that sounds a bit disgusting, don't you? I mean, you really need to share that thought with the rest of us.
Well, Pyro has posted something. I posted. Pyro's posted another one. He's asked a question. So before you run off chemo with some other curvature bullshit, we're talking about the sun and sunsets and how it changes size. And Pyro's showing, based on what Rakia said about raising elevation, this is what happens when you watch a sunset when you raise elevation. You see the sun, and you also see the clouds beneath you not being lit by the sun.
Okay.
Pyro's asking to explain how that happens.
That's fine. So any phenomenon that you see in nature, you're asking the question, how does that work? What's causing that? And again, we are able to answer that scientifically. What's the problem?
No, you're not. No,
Please
you're
do
not.
that then. Please do that then.
Yeah, go on then.
What's she got to do? What are they trying to get you to do?
Pyro's asked, in the pictures that was posted to you, the sun's being seen when you raise elevation. You're seen from the plane. You can see the sun directly. What you can't see beneath you, the light that's coming from the sun, though, is not lighting up the clouds that are right beneath you. So even though they're reaching your eyes, they're not reaching the ground right beneath you. So this tells you something about the angles of that light. But what does it tell you guys, and how do you explain it on your idea of the Earth?
Hey, clearly, please. Well, which picture are we talking about? Can you bring my
picture
attention?
posted in the chat, Brummy? If you look at the last thing posted.
Okay, by Foolish.
Yep, because I knew you were going to ask that question.
So we're in the airplane. We're looking at
What's happening? Is the sun getting smaller?
You've now got to explain the whole thing again, Coach.
Let somebody else try to answer, Brummy. Yeah.
Well, you just talked and didn't even give me attention to the picture you was on about. So just ask me
what
what
you're looking at in the picture, dude.
He was asking chemo as well, Brummy.
Well, your argument is what? There's a picture of a sun. Yeah. So what?
You missed the social graces class, didn't you?
Now, what I'm trying to get Kosher to do is actually be accurate in his explanation for something to try and help me understand what he's babbling about.
Nobody can help you, man.
Because we all know that Kosher can't explain things very coherently.
You may have that opinion. I'm not sure it's shared by all.
It's
What we're seeing right now is you spiraling while not answering the question. Emo, on the other hand, has just said that he can scientifically explain this observation.
But he laughed. He's having a good time, Kosho.
What?
Fantastic. If you can't answer the question, Brummy, don't be speaking.
I need to know the question. I don't know the question to answer. If you haven't told me the question, have you? So we're looking at the sun.
We were talking about the sun getting smaller. Now they've posted a picture.
Okay, so what we see in the sun that's an unknowable amount of distance away from us, and it looks like it's converging with the horizon. What about it?
Made a claim, and we're trying to get him to back up his claim, Brummy. You have not made this claim. It is not your burden of evidence to currently demonstrate. This is what Kosher said. Emo, can you let me finish?
Kosher, what's he on about, Kosher? Nobody knows what Kosher is saying.
If you don't know what's going on, then please don't be speaking.
I want you to keep up to date with the flat Earth debate, man, and just and tell me.
Then listen.
I'm gonna go ahead and take it that none of you guys are capable of answering this question. I knew that before it was asked.
Of course.
But when Rakia says to raise up and make the observation from higher up, you're gonna run into things like this, which are just more questions for a flat Earth and not.
What are you answering here? Are you saying that he doesn't get smaller or something from a high altitude?
Now you're gonna pretend you're as dumb as Brummy. Okay.
I don't know why this was brought up.
The sun is seen in this picture. The sun is visible in this picture. That's what you're looking at. So what are you looking at? You're looking at the sun in this picture. The light's reaching your eye, and the fact that you can see it in the picture. It's not reaching the clouds that are beneath you. As you can tell by the fact that they're black. They're not being lit by the sun because it's not reaching the clouds. So the question is, how is this possible in your fucking idea of the Earth, and how do you explain it when on the globe it's easily explainable by the angles in which it's reaching everything?
There's a thing called refraction, right? And looming. So that don't make sense. It makes sense
perspective.
I said a word called looming. So now that makes sense, right?
You guys know buzzwords. That's great. Now explain how that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, looming? Don't you know about looming, bro? Didn't you learn looming in school? It's not my fault you don't understand flat Earth looming.
Yeah, he's just trolling.
I'm not even trolling. I'm not even trolling. I'm just saying.
It's funny to be mentally.
Okay, so what we were talking about, you said if you go higher, I don't know what you think would happen, but I've got a video here from an aeroplane.
Don't cry for Brummy.
Where the sun gets smaller and smaller from out. Again, you need to go higher.
Is there a solar filter, Kimium?
Well, what was your picture that you showed?
No solar filter was used in the production of this video.
What was the picture that you produced there?
Yeah,
exactly.
The picture that I produced is not talking about the size of the sun. You're trying to tell us what the size of the sun, what's happening with the size of the sun without using a solar filter, which nobody in this room is claiming you're not going to have issues. So when we're looking about the size of the sun, we're going to use solar filters so that we don't have any kind of disagreement on what could be happening with the atmosphere.
So when we don't use a solar filter, it does appear to shrink. You agree?
It can appear to do all sorts of things without the solar filter.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but what does the solar filter do, Jeremy?
Well, what does it do? It takes out the glare or something.
Yeah, it takes the glare away.
Yeah, it just takes the glare out. It doesn't.
But the glare also gets smaller and smaller.
Excuse me. If you're going to watch the video that Chemo's presented, go to about 40 seconds in and pause it. You can see the sun, and then you can see various lens flares. Now, the lens flares actually show you the true size of the sun.
Yeah, so and it all gets smaller and smaller.
You don't know that.
No, that's
yes, but either way, it gets smaller and smaller, and it doesn't go below the horizon; it goes through.
No, it doesn't get smaller because what you're seeing for most of that is glare, but the lens flare shows you the true size of the sun.
I don't know, man. It sounds like hold on, Rick. It sounds like that. You know when a girl sees your pee-pee, and you say, "Oh, it's usually bigger when That's what it sounded like.
So you don't understand lens flare then? Okay.
It was just cold.
I'll go and put the cat.
Farmers, PP is showing.
Let's see a cold day. On a cold day, do you think the sun will be smaller?
Did you just say
Here,
there's no less refraction?
Exactly.
Did you just say the
You're
word
right.
PP?
Well, PP, sun, same thing. So the point is that the atmospheric conditions of the day affect both, right?
The atmospheric conditions can affect the lens and all that kind of stuff. So to eliminate that, a solar filter would be used if you're trying to determine the size of the sun.
So what you got to think is, what you got to think is, when that sun on the flat plane is going into the distance, it's going through lots and lots more atmospheric conditions. So that's also going to magnify it as well as the time as it's traveling away. And you know, the universe, it's so intricately designed that it has such symmetry in every single way you look at it. So you look at the symmetry of the way the distance is proportional to the distance proportional to the Earth traveling away. It's sync with
You know what's
the
fantastic? When you use a solar filter, you get the consistent size of the sun. You don't get any kind of changes at all.
Prove it.
Okay?
Prove
so
from an aeroplane.
What that means is that it doesn't matter what the atmosphere does on any given day.
So do you have a video then of
it? Consistent regardless.
Not even a pixel?
So
Not even a
Kosho,
pixel change, which would prove you wrong?
Kosho, do you have a video
Not
like
any
this
perceivable
from an
way.
aeroplane where the sun doesn't change size, its height, with the solar filter?
I could find one for you. I don't know why.
Does any baller have
one
such a
from
thing?
that
Look,
height.
because you're making
You
wild
use
claims.
You can find any video with the solar filter.
You're
and
making
it's the same
claims
size.
about something that you see from the ground, which is full of magnification. So of course you're going to get that effect. But from this height,
No,
it's less
It
magnification.
doesn't change size. That means that it doesn't get magnified. It doesn't get smaller. It doesn't get bigger. It stays the same size when you use a solar filter. It was magnifying. It wouldn't matter if it was setting.
All right, can you prove that
It
though?
wouldn't matter if it was sitting it further away.
I hear
It's
what
not
you're
changing
saying,
size
but
whatsoever.
can you demonstrate that to be true?
Yes, absolutely. There's
Go
tons
on.
of videos of solar filters being used.
Not from the ground, from an aeroplane like this.
Yeah, why do you require that, Chemo?
Because that's you're out of the magnification, and the sun will get. Of course, it will get smaller, just like
Okay,
this
so
here.
how is it being magnified if it's not changing size whatsoever?
No, the magnification affects the light, the sun, and what it does.
Right. I know you're saying that, and I'm asking you if that's what your claim is.
Mhm.
Why is it that when you see the videos with the solar filter, they don't change size at all?
I just told you the atmosphere affects the sun.
Yeah, you're saying it magnifies it, and I'm telling you it doesn't change at all. And I'm asking you, how is that consistent with one another? How is it not changing at
Well,
all?
can you demonstrate
but
this
magnifying?
before you carry on with your rhetoric?
Well, it does change until you put the solar filter on it. Obviously, the light's getting the glare that makes it look bigger and smaller. That's the magnification we're talking about.
No, it
Jeremy's
doesn't change size. Okay, listen. The solar filter is used to eliminate those claims that you're making about what the atmosphere is doing. We use
Yeah.
a solar filter because now we see what it's
A
truly doing.
beautiful
Now
design.
that we're using a solar filter, there's no
Dynamic
need to talk about it magnifying.
Kosho,
It's
look at
irrelevant to
the
talk about
look
whenever
at
you're
the
using a thing that's making
synchronization.
it not change at all.
Kosho, look at the synchronization of the design. It's all perfect.
Look at the synchronization of the design.
It's absolutely beautiful. So when it goes further away, it also goes through more atmospheric conditions, which obviously magnifies it perfectly.
Oh, it obviously magnifies it.
Of course it does.
Perfect.
Shows reasons.
We understand that moisture creates magnification, and we understand the moisture in the atmosphere. Once we're looking through more atmosphere, we'll
Who is
then
this
potentially more. Well, it is people that live on the real world, my friend.
Cool.
But are you one of those
we
people?
also know. 1 second. We also
I'm pretty
know
sure we're not one of
that
those
when you
people.
get down to a certain temperature, you take all the moisture out of the air. We know this, Rummy, don't we? So therefore, we would expect to see a very different effect in somewhere like Canada, where it often gets down to that point where there will be no moisture in the atmosphere. So cool. And
So let's see.
Yeah, all we need is to back up Kosho's claim is to see.
Okay, Chemo, here you go.
Go on,
Let
give
me
us a look.
1 second, Chemo. Let's see if the angular size over a cold climate and over a warm climate, and see if we see any change there. Sorry, I just wanted to add, Chemo.
Alright, he's done it. Please, this is a drone.
Right, I said what you. Is that what you can say anyway?
No, I wanted Kosho to provide a video of from an aeroplane of the sun with the solar filter.
You want me to strip naked right now and fucking dance for dollar bills? I'm giving you exactly what you just said, Kima.
Dollar bills, yo.
Your irrelevant claim or your relevant request. For,
Alright, what's the timestamp?
whatever, it's been
What's the
given to you
timestamp? What's the timestamp?
0 to the end of the video.
Yeah, I
You have to
watched
watch
it.
it and discover it for yourself.
It's one of the videos I watched when researching Flat Earth.
I like how Kimo keeps moving the goalpost.
Kosho, what's the
They have
timestamp?
no choice to, man. They're saying irrelevant things like solar filter is making it the same size because it's magnifying it, which makes no fucking sense.
No, what you're not getting is that if you go higher, you will see what you're asking for. But you refuse to do that, so you're keeping the illusion that because you're on the ground with all the magnification, that the sun
Kimo,
doesn't do what you think it should do.
You don't know what you're talking about, Kimo.
Well, we do, because we've got an experiment. We've got a body of evidence.
He's going up over 1,000 feet, man.
No, but how do we know what we're talking about? Because we have an experiment. Where is your experiment, Kosho?
On a mountain. He's
I have a lot of
1,000 feet, dude.
observation, man.
I mean, look at this beautifully designed world. I mean, can you not appreciate this absolutely flawlessly designed reality that we all share? You know?
It's hardly flawless. Out from our perspective, there's loads of stuff around that can kill us.
And there's a lot of things that does not kill us, and we do not kill each other. And you know,
make it flawless, though, does it?
Of course. I mean, I'm flawless, but I mean, if I fall over, I could break my neck. You know.
Flawless, huh? That's why you wear glasses, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I'm watching a lot of these flat Earth debunking videos and learning that they're not debunking shit. They're just finding people to try and make fun of when really they're not.
Like which video is not debunking?
Like the video that you posted with the solar filter proving that the sun doesn't change size. That's them not.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Why would death be a flaw? If there was no death, there would be overpopulation, and then Jim would be saying, "Oh, it's a flaw because it's overpopulated," or some stupid thing like that. It's perfect in every way. I mean, it's amazing actually how everything works.
Mm-hmm.
If there were fewer things
It kind
that
of
killed
proves
us,
that it's not random, right?
if there were fewer things that killed us, but we still just died of natural causes at the same sort of ages, wouldn't that be?
If it was your way,
wouldn't that be more flawless than
if
the
it
world?
was? If you were the creator, you would appreciate the creation more. Is what you're saying?